A massive tower hangs under heavy air as a man coldly threatens another's insolence. The shouter is Zhang Bin, a notorious thug claiming to lead a 5,000 strong dwarf army. Before him, Hanwoo trembles yet stays calm as he is mocked for his weak origin and threatened with destruction of his scant power. His faint resistance stems from recently transmigrating into a power-blissed world. Ironically, this new body is scorned for a lifelong frail Hong Kong core. The former host's memories surge, recalling his grandfather's dying wish to find his parents lost in the Star Cows. A stunning girl once offered protection if he served her, supplying insects as feed for a pet. Zhang Bin and his lackeys later forced Hanwoo to hand over divine power, threatening to crush his core. In the memory haze, he sees his future cornered by an extremely weak ability. Even so, he steps to a device, determined to carve his own escape. He enters the machine, activates Veer, and accepts a trial of fate in the newly generated divine domain. Inside, grandeur unfolds, and he sees his core territory as merely a meadow where sluggish Huang Kong crawl. Hanwoo summons his personal system interface. The status panel shows info and two strange powers the system explains they are privileges and a sacrifice for random item art. He mutters analysis, realizing this is his transmigration advantage and hope to fulfill his family's wish. Sparking a new plan, after pondering, he laughs, reopens the system, and boldly wagers everything to reverse fate. Next morning at the academy, a charming pink-haired girl approaches Hanwoo amid classmates' awe. She repeats her offer to make him her servant for protection, but Hanwoo firmly refuses. Her eyes darken in anger as she warns of consequences, yet he calmly rejects her to keep his honor. His reply makes her freeze, then leave after warning he'll pay for this choice. Immediately, Zhang Bin arrives with lackeys demanding divine power and threatening core destruction, but Hanwoo coolly warns them off. Zhang Bin sneers, vowing to shatter his core unless he submits. Yet Hanwoo answers with a cold challenge. His stance briefly unsettles Zhang Bin, who suspects backing but finds none. The henchmen roar for battle, eager to crush the Huangchong core and expel Hanwoo. Zhang Bin draws an energy card, grinning viciously as he prepares to activate the attack tool. Power erupts from the card, opening a portal letting him invade the target's divine domain. Hanwoo is sucked in by the swirling energy before reacting. Dropped into chaos, he kneels amid rugged mountains in his domain. Dizzy from the spatial pull, before him, a giant gate slowly parts, revealing enemy forces. Numerous stout dwarf figures with glowing red eyes march out, followed by Zhang Bin's giant phantom descending. The phantom orders the eradication of the Huang Kong and the destruction of Hanwoo's divine domain roots. The dwarf army roars, grinding teeth as they prepare to charge. Outside, students watching the replay chatter excitedly, amazed by Zhang Bin's army scale and ranking him near the school's top 30. Kun Sheng observes with folded arms, eyes gleaming with interest as the battle begins. On screen, Hanwoo immediately commands the Huang Kong swarm, sending red locusts straight at the enemy. Spectators freeze upon realizing these are elite self-detonating variants, exploding violently the moment they touch the dwarves. The blast force echoes like historic quakes, while Hanwoo silently observes. His mind flashes back to yesterday when he activated the secret art forming a matrix around himself. Amid swirling light, he declared a desperate gamble keeping a small stock while sacrificing hundreds of billions. The energy vortex consumed the swarm, and the system presented three options. He analyzed each and chose the third to upgrade his alien core, receiving an enhancement item. Grasping the glowing crystal, he crushed it, unleashing power that transformed the entire locust swarm. The swarm instantly evolved into zealot-like elites. Absolutely obedient to commands, Hanwoo grabbed one in order to test detonation. The blast shattered a boulder, pleasing him as the swarm's numbers could guarantee victory. The battlefield soon drowned in thick smoke. Viewers outside grew anxious as results remained hidden in the dust. When the air cleared, dwarf corpses lay everywhere, and their leader was dying. Hanwoo led the red locust elites forward with imposing presence. Kun Sheng watched, eyes glowing with unrestrained excitement. Meanwhile, the dwarf leader opened a retreat gate for survivors, while Zhang Bin smugly thought he had escaped, but Hanwoo released a chilling string of Y laden with intent. The locust swarm abruptly turned and flooded into Zhang Bin's divine domain, triggering violent explosions. Seeing his forces annihilated, Zhang Bin panicked, screaming for them to stop. Yet each locust detonated on appearance. Every contact with his dwarves caused another blast, driving his army into despair. As the battle collapsed, Zhang Bin trembled and begged to surrender, but Hanwoo coldly said retaliation was inevitable after provocation. Zhang Bin tried invoking his demigod family's authority, but Hanwoo cut him off and ordered the attack. The elite locusts surged into the opponent's core, unleashing relentless destruction. Zhang Bin knelt, pleading and swearing anything for mercy, but Hanwoo answered with an icy smile, intent on ending him. At that moment, a deep authoritative voice intervened, making Hanwoo turn. Teacher Liu arrived with overwhelming presence, ordering a halt, while Zhang Bin seized the chance to accuse him for help. But before the command finished, the swarm detonated again at the core, causing severe fractures. Zhang Bin panicked for aid, and Teacher Liu shouted at Hanwoo for disobeying. Hanwoo questioned why the teacher only intervened when the strong were threatened, demanding to know if he would have acted had the victim been him. Leaving the teacher speechless, that silence tells Hanwoo everything, and Zhang Bin's divine domain core is completely destroyed. The domain collapses amid his screams while Hanwoo orders Teacher Liu to leave his space. The battle ends, the external display shuts off, leaving Zhang Bin shattered in despair. Teacher Liu bursts into the classroom in uncontrollable fury. He demands Hanwoo's expulsion, only to realize the boy left long ago. In his domain, Hanwoo stands among the elite locusts, planning his next steps. He takes out the deepered core shard obtained from battle. Radiating fierce power, he fuses the shard into his domain, instantly expanding the space dramatically. The divine realm grows vast and magnificent. The system grants level 2 and over 800 lightly armed dwarves, exciting Han-Wu while reminding him of Zhang Bin's family threat. He concludes danger remains and opens the system market for upgrade trades. Someone offers molten fire crystals that boost explosive fire-type aliens, and Han-Wu accepts immediately. Fire energy engulfs the swarm, evolving the self-detonating locusts into stronger forms. The status panel shows the new explosive plague locust, short-lived but absolutely loyal. Han-Wu tests one by throwing it, producing a cannon-like blast. He is stunned as the explosion and lava spray can sweep entire areas. In the faculty room, Zhang Bin's father roars for justice because his son's domain core is irreparably destroyed. A teacher explains Zhang Bin started the fight and repeatedly broke rules, but is cut off by the enraged father. The man insists full responsibility lies with the school. Rejecting all explanations, the accompanying woman declares the one who destroyed her son's core must be punished and expelled immediately. In his domain, Han-Wu observes the explosive plague swarm, calculating further breeding with his acceleration ability. Suddenly, the system displays an incoming call from his homeroom teacher, and his face darkens at her heavy opening. Teacher Xu informs him that Zhang Bin's parents are pressuring for harsh punishment. Recalling Madame Zhang's aggressive words, faced with the accusations, Teacher Xu firmly states Han-Wu did nothing wrong and Zhang Bin repeatedly violated rules. Enraging Madame Zhang, who demands expulsion but is denied. Here, Zhang declares that if the school won't give them an outlet, he will force the school to yield regardless of face. Teacher Xu explains the final option: Zhang Bin's family may send over 1,000 troops into the domain for an open battle. Asking if Han-Wu dares accept, he confidently agrees to appear tomorrow. Han-Wu murmurs that he must level up and prepare for the next sacrifice, then begins forming the array. The energy ring opens, absorbing the entire swarm into its center, erupting in golden light as the rite completes. The system offers 3 rewards. He is stunned that the price of 48 billion locusts earned a rare treasure, and he chooses the third option. A four-armed elder of the Sword Peak race manifests, bearing heroic talent and demanding a sword, and Han-Wu calmly agrees. He checks his accumulated faith, enough to convert into 54 divine power points, preparing to allocate them to the Sword Peak warrior. He gives the Sword Peak elder the Great Stormblade, letting him test its power with a single slash. Grandfather Hongtu unleashes fierce sword ki and demands 3 more similar weapons. Startling Han-Wu grumbles at the divine power cost but still opens the system interface to approve. Thinking of Zhang Kang's 1,000-troop clash tomorrow, he is forced to try his luck. Kun Sheng meditates amid lightning and birds as flood-soaked memories surge back. She recalls being saved by Han-Wu and awakening in embarrassment. Blushing, she secretly scolds him for being foolish when her clan could easily protect him. Receiving an autocall from Han-Wu, she thinks he accepted servitude, but he only asked to borrow power. She sternly belittles his worth, prompting Han-Wu to end the call. He leaves only a brief apology before hanging up. Kun Sheng panics at her slip of tongue and quickly calls back to explain. When he answers, she anxiously asks how much he needs and where to send it. Han-Wu laments over the Sword Peak elder and still buys 3 new greatswords. In class, classmates mock him for fearing his domain will be flattened by a demigod legion. He observes the crowd's reaction and vows to shock them. Kun Sheng steps up to dissuade him. She warns he can't resist celestial human troops and urges him to be her servant for protection, but he turns away. Zhang quietly agrees and leaves, while he stays to prepare for the celestial human army. Angering onlookers, a student roars in jealousy, calling Han-Wu useless and threatening to kill him. Latin opens the door, bringing in Zhang Bin's parents with other guardians. Zhang Bin's father charges at him in rage, wanting to tear apart the one who broke the domain core, but is restrained. He still demands Han-Wu step forward, but Han-Wu insists on the homeroom teacher's presence just as Teacher Xu arrives. She coldly reminds La Qian to uphold teacherly dignity and not act like a demigod's lackey. When Teacher Xu confirms the start, Zhang Bin's father draws an energy card and initiates the duel, activating the combat program. He announces commencement, and the entire space shifts instantly. The whole group is brought into the domain where a vast army is already arrayed. An armored cavalry unit appears, making observing students gasp at its elite quality. Spectators are stunned that the entire force is elite, with wolf riders fused with cutting-edge armor, leaving him with seemingly no chance. The cavalry forms ranks in the dusty plain as Zhang Bin's father coldly pronounces judgment. He screams for blood as repayment, while Qin Sheng's heart tightens at the sight. She startles upon calculating their total combat strength: 2,000 units, clearly a trap. The wolf cavalry storms in like a tempest, but Han-Wu folds his arms and releases a colossal locust swarm to counter. Students reel at 7 million elite locusts grown in a day. Yet their blast only lightly scratched the wolf riders, making La Qian grimace. The teacher secretly praises his talent but worries the trial is excessive when a student shouts about a sky anomaly. The entire wolf force looks up and panics as a rain of magma locusts falls like fiery meteors. Each one explodes on impact, tossing riders like dry straw. Teacher Xu and Kun Sheng freeze at the overwhelming power and order the class to identify the species. A male student reports they are elite magma locusts, prompting Teacher Xu to marvel at Han-Wu's capability. Zhang Kang erupts in fury, hurling energy to trigger the wolf chief and shouting that insects can't save the enemy army. The chief goes berserk upon receiving the energy. Roaring as the entire force awakens, the cavalry unleashes freezing ki, raising a massive ice wall that nullifies the explosive locust rain. The temperature plunges as viewers shiver. Han-Wu's swarm drops to 500,000. Losing nearly all magma locus, Zhang Kang leads his troops straight toward the domain core. Vowing to crush Hanwu's fate at the root, they sweep past Hanwu toward the core, leaving students hopeless until Kunsheng suddenly shouts on seeing a strange figure ahead. The entire cavalry halts before a four-armed Jianfeng warrior wielding 4 greatswords, chilling the whole class. Students whisper about the value of 4 greatswords. Teacher Xu confirms it's a Jianfeng with innate heroic physique, making Kunsheng realize his aura exceeds superclass norms. Zhang Kang, jealous since he raised only one hero in his life, vows to seize it by destroying the core, but Jianfeng coldly meets the charge. As the beast troops surge in, he sweeps 4 blades cleanly through them, and though ice binds his legs, he lifts his swords to gather force. A cyclone erupts, blasting the monsters away as students cheer at the overwhelming power. Jianfeng stands unmoved while only a few wolf heads roll. Zhang Kang turns purple with rage. He orders the wolf chief to annihilate everything, flooding the field with killing intent. But the principal appears and blocks him, forcing Zhang Kang to hastily command a retreat. The principal glances at Hanwu and Jianfeng, smiling in praise before leaving. A teacher reminds Hanwu not to be arrogant since he's not top 3 yet. Then hears him request a class transfer. Luochen tries to stop him, but he firmly insists on the assessment. Kunsheng rises and requests to join the evaluation with him. Luochen flusters and tries to persuade her, but she coldly refuses, saying she simply no longer wants this class. The boy beside them stands to join as well, enraging Luochen, who scolds class monitor Zhang Xiaolong, but he calmly states he will leave the class. He silently eyes Kunsheng with possessive determination. Teacher Xu sets the test date and calls Luochen to follow. After class, Kunsheng presses Hanwu about his power source under the pretext of collecting his debt, but he agrees only to pay a little and refuses to reveal anything. With that, he vanishes into his domain, leaving Kunsheng annoyed as divine light fills the inner realm. Inside, he checks his locust numbers and realizes they want suffice for tomorrow's trial. Jianfeng asks for orders regarding the wolf cavalry hiding in the forest, and Hanwu considers Zhang Kang's scheme. Wanting to exploit them rather than waste them, he orders all wolf riders captured alive for future use, and Jianfeng obeys immediately. Soon after, he returns with all surviving wolves barely clinging to life. The system suggests a sacrifice. Hanwu accepts and summons a vortex to absorb all the beasts. 3 rewards appear, disappointing him as Locust can't use robots, and forge or tower blueprints seem unfit until he recalls the hundreds of dwarves he gained. Using Eagle Eye, he sees them mining diligently and reverently greeting their god. Realizing their crafting nature had been suppressed by Zhang Bin, who forced them into war, he notes dwarves excel at smithing, assigns them to run the new forge, and they cheer joyfully at the blessing. In the meeting room, Luo Qian proposes raising the test difficulty for the 3 students, especially pushing Hanwu to the highest level to preserve the school's prestige. 2 other teachers agree, letting Luo Qian gloat and deepen his grudge against Hanwu. In class, he assigns Kunsheng and Xiaolong to block 1,000 enemies, and was tasked as level 10, requiring him to repel 10,000 aliens, leaving him stunned. Kunsheng anxiously asks to lower his difficulty. Luo Qian shrugs responsibility, calling it a chance to prove himself, and grows angrier when Hanwu calmly leaves. Kunsheng again offers protection but is refused, leaving her irritated. Xiaolong secretly delights, waiting for Hanwu to fail. When the exam begins, hordes of monsters appear, shocking students with the abnormal difficulty. Spectators gossip, while Hanwu curses Luo Qian upon seeing fire-resistant goblins. Luo Qian smugly claims 10,000 goblins can crush the domain, and another teacher congratulates him for his revenge. Meanwhile, Teacher Xu watches every moment in tension. Hanwu deploys the Locust troops, but their fire ignites them. The goblins remain intact and even grab Locust through the smoke. They hurl the corpses back at Hanwu, causing violent explosions as he must summon thousands more to continue. The swarm closes in, startling the goblins before a fierce collision. The blast echoes, and 2 candidates finish their tests, making everyone worry Hanwu is disadvantaged by his weak locusts. Hanwu deploys ultra-strong variants to counterattack with violent detonations. Though many enemies are flung aside, the goblin tide keeps surging, convincing viewers he can't withstand the overwhelming numbers. Kunsheng feigns criticism to provoke Hanwu, claiming the enemy may break his core. Teacher Xu summons a vortex of wind, urging him to stop, but he fights on without flinching. The heroic sword key clears a path, yet goblin firebombs strike the core, making all believe his life form is about to fall. Jianfeng screams in pain, and Luo Qian coldly calls it a harsh lesson until someone points out an anomaly. A dwarf battalion appears, led by a fierce axe-wielding chief. They roar a protection order and immediately crush the goblin ranks, stunning the students with their above-a-standard might. After the slaughter, the dwarves wipe out the foes, leaving ashes. Hanwu collapses in emotion. Luo Qian grinds his teeth in disappointment while Hanwu's friends cheer. Certain of victory, teachers rush to recruit talent, offering rich training resources to the 3 top students. Only Hanwu and Kunsheng hesitate, while Zhang Xiaolong quietly evaluates Kunsheng's choice. Hanwu demands to know why his test was so hard and asks to see the voting record. Teacher Xu provides the documents. After reading, he immediately rejects the teachers who sided with Luo Qian, leaving them bitter over their mistake. He asks the 2 who opposed the vote what support they can offer. One promises giant dwarf troops. The other pledges accelerated evolution for his insects. Impressed, Hanwu's group chooses to follow teacher Windian for guidance. Windian rejoices at gaining talent. Securing his bid for outstanding teacher honors, he grants 3 gift cards, which Hanwu finds perfectly aligned with his swarm-building strategy and dual sacred artifacts. Hanwu bows in thanks, receiving encouragement to prove himself through results. Teacher Xu reminds everyone that the coming major exam is the true measure deciding the academy's resource allocation. Reviewing his forces, Hanwoo sighs at their weakness and trains more. Noticing the Xilua dwarf's title has changed. Checking again, he finds a dwarf warrior has overevolved into an elite unit with molten blood, making him wish this were his main race. He stabilizes numbers and unleashes energy to form a vortex as his locusts surge past 7 billion to trade for stronger items. The sacrifice ring consumes the swarm and reveals 2 rewards, shocking him with a power-up choice for his insect race. He weighs, gains, and selects devouring force since he can't fund a new hero costing hundreds of millions of divine power, planning yearly growth of 1 million units. He is stunned by the giant mutant that appears. He names it the Hong Kong Detonation Lord before Qun Shang questions him about serving her, though she belittles his weak foundation. Zhang Xiaolong grits his teeth, vowing to surpass Hanwoo to regain Qin Shang's favor. When Dian enters, stressing the academy exam will decide future resources, with rewards like sacred artifacts and legion cores. Rules show 2 rounds equal difficulty screening, then unlimited combat for ranking points. Hearing failure means expulsion, Hanwoo panics but craves the prizes. Qun Shang grips her fist, aiming for top rank. When the exam begins, Hanwoo is sent into a battle space and releases his swarm into swirling dust. He faces thick-armored flesh fiends, paling at their toughness in round 1. He sends 50,000 detonation generals, triggering fierce blasts that roast enemies, prompting his grilled meat joke. The dwarves drag corpses for the swarm to consume, stripping them to bones so fast he feels the school is hosting a free feast. Hanwoo demands faster pacing while teachers lament the high dropout rate. Teacher Xu explains leadership is at the war front, so they chose brutal bloodflesh golems for screening. When Dian thrills as Hanwoo turns others' nightmare into nourishment for his swarm. A ball teacher notes the locust immunity to flesh fiend toxins, seeing new research potential. Lu Tian still mocks him with insects, but when Dian retorts their superclass threshold is formidable, ending in a wager. They bet 5 divine points. Luo Qian confident after funneling resources to his nephew Liao Mo. Round 1 ends with 430 passing and 130 quitting. Luo Qian calls them cowards. When Dian says it's natural with such high difficulty, the class is then attacked by a jagged skeleton legion emerging like ghosts. Hanwoo, seeing billions of hungry Huangchang, releases them to charge the steel dense bone mists. The monsters approach with blooded eyes, opening a new clash. After the first bout, Hanwoo yawns at the ease. In round 2 the Hong Kong self-detonate, shredding foes but lava blocks their path. Finding magma useful, he orders the Xilua dwarves to dump furnace heat, turning the ground into a lava fall trapping bone mists. The lava fall becomes his shortcut to annihilation, astonishing teachers while when Dian beams despite Lu Tian's scorn for only reaching round 7. Liamo's domain displays dense goblins and magic towers, stunning students with its massive resource base. Luo Qian smugly expects Liamo to win, but the class is startled by a call toward Qun Shang's divine domain. The vast scene of 100 crimson towers and giant thunderbirds makes teachers admit the terrifying potential of the Qun Harris. Everyone praises her as top 1 material while Luo Shen turns pale, grinding his teeth at being outclassed. He blames Hanwoo and vows revenge as the system announces 18 contestants advancing. Difficulty spikes as a shadowy figure emerges from the trial gate, suffocating the arena. It is the skeletal hero Kong Goji, a bone controller who fuses fragments into new monsters. He raises his staff, merging shattered bones into a giant foot crashing down like thunder. A bone city wraith rises, body blazing with dark energy, unleashing a world-blurring strike. A teacher freezes as contestants flee within minutes under unbearable power. Luo Qi notices anomalies in Hanwoo's divine domain, suspecting rule-breaking. Inside Hanwoo's space, the bone wraith staggers in terror as if seeing something horrifying. When Dian explains most bones were melted by Hanwoo, leaving Kong Guzi starved of materials. Seizing the chance, Jian Feng charges in and cleaves the bone wraith apart. That opening strike flips the battle as the real round heats up. Passing round 10 too easily makes Hanwoo yawn while Luo Qian screams accusations of cheating. He demands an investigation, claiming Hanwoo cleared bones to weaken Kong Gozi, but another teacher rebats him hard. Teacher Xu asserts the exam was set by the principal beforehand, so no one could cheat. She counters Luo Qian on fairness, pointing out his nephew and Qun Shang both enjoy huge resource privileges. Dian Wen angrily exposes Lamo's family ties and mocks that round 11 is harder for him than reaching the heavens. Liamo's divine domain collapses, goblins dead everywhere, driving him to 4 feet before the bone giant. Dian Wen concludes the bet is settled. Hanwoo past round 10. Luo Qian's nephew is out. Luo Qian must hand over the Divina Point card but vows to reclaim it someday. After 13 rounds, only 3 remain: Hanwoo, Qun Shang, and Huang Fei, exciting the judges for the title race. Huang Fei sees the Bone Frost squad brimming with dark energy, turns pale, and surrenders immediately. Meanwhile, Qun Shang's divine domain lies devastated, dust filling the sky, forcing her to withdraw. Helpless, Qun Shang raises her hand to quit, leaving Su Mei both happy and shocked as Hanwoo becomes number 1. In Hanwoo's domain, Huang Chong self-detonates, leveling the bone giant before it can reform. The system ends round 20 and opens round 21 with overwhelming difficulty. Startling Hanwoo, a stone gate fires blinding lightning, forcing him to exclaim at the colossal aura descending. A dark-shrouded woman on a throne appears, and teachers recognize a Guling Lord. Seeing her extreme level, Hanwoo immediately chooses to retreat instead of fighting. His withdrawal makes the Guling Lord howl in fury as she is sucked back into the gate. A strange object streaks past Hanwoo, freezing him amid cries of alarm. Seeing the explosion behind him, he wonders what just happened. The trial gate dissolves, silence falling before he is pulled outside. Back in reality, seeing his name atop the rankings with Wen Dian's class-setting records, Henwu cheers in shock. Luo Qin grinds his teeth, furious at losing first place while other students fear expulsion. Friends surround Henwu with flowers and loud cheers. System rewards territory expansion or Tier 1 temple card, weapon exchange card, and divine points astonish everyone. Henwu hesitates over the rewards, and Wen Dian offers to help optimize the choices. He chooses to expand the secret grove, receives 2 relics, and completes the Tier 1 temple. He reviews the armory, finding only Jinfeng's sword suited for now, leaving him unsure about other options. He stops at the top-grade Purgatory War Hammer but notes it needs a fire-type hero, so he waits to recruit a Qilu demi-human or fire hero. Wen Dian declares that anyone capable will soon join the star ranks. 3 students are called up, with Henwu taking first place and earning 100 exchange points. The system lists rare rewards, and Henwu decisively selects Life Force Authority. Teachers judge him bold yet aware of his limits. A classmate tries to buy divine points at a high price, but Henwu weighs the gain and plans to refuse. A sudden message from Kunshan offers even more. Stunning Henwu, he realizes the true value of divine points and warns himself not to fall for traps. Henwu shouts the bargainer away, leaving the man storming off angrily. Henwu's mind fills only with visions of resources pouring down like rain. In his divine domain, he floats above observing the new settlement and shrine. He considers placing the life spring beside the drought zone to maximize effect. Henwu issues a special war edict to the tribe, making them kneel and praise the blessing. He gifts a superior seed and appoints the receiver as a new pillar. Moving the tribe to tears, he examines the venom pearl chosen by the teacher. Wondering about its true use, the system replies just in time, startling him, and he calls the teacher for clarification. Wen Dian gives him the Divinum Point card and a precious demon egg, explaining its origin and ability to nurture insect races. Henwu contemplates helping Huangchang change species to reach a general-grade life form like a spirit beast. He chooses the Demon Embryo egg, receives advice to pair it with the Venom Pearl, and asks the teacher for cheap meat supplies. Walking his domain, he worries that a Tier 2 item's food demand exceeds current production. He sets the demon embryo beneath a tree to produce fluids for insect evolution. 2 days later, he sees signs of demon fluid and waits with great hope. The egg begins secreting fluid, then suddenly moves, signaling hatching. The system confirms the new creature far surpasses Huangchang but requires daily demon embryo essence to evolve. Within moments, the demon larva surges in size, proving its extreme growth rate. Henwu gathers the radiant venom mist and fuses it into his world core. The result makes the insect body swell, revealing a higher-grade life form. In a desolate place, the principal worries as he surveys dust-covered ruins. Before him lies a bone field like a freshly flattened battlefield. The number of demon corpses is so large they cannot be safely sealed. Wen Dian calls, prompting the principal to question the purpose. Hearing the request to purchase demon bodies, he immediately asks for clarification. Wen Dian explains the student uses them as food for a bug species without adverse reactions. The principal recalls a genius who once fought a demigod and recesses the tiny creature. He grants a card containing 1,000,000 corpses for testing. Soon he hears the entire stock was consumed in a single day. Overreacting, he awkwardly tells them to pause the request. He then fixes a bulk sale price to prevent losses. When Dian reports, Henwu immediately orders 1,000,000 divine power. Later, Henwu stands amid a dense swarm. Sensing breakthrough time, he erupts with force, drawing all insects into the vortex. The system offers 3 options: Giant Warrior, Tier 3 Toxic Blast, or a Disassembly Energy Converter. He evaluates the options, shocked most by the second. Calming down, he reviews option 2 but finds his world core cannot store more toxic law. He finally chooses the Disassembler to convert matter into profit-bearing crystals. A massive device appears, leaving him wide-eyed. He tested by tossing an iron ore. The machine processes it and returns 3 shining crystals. Seeing they are high-value iron crystals, he rejoices at the long-term gain. Suddenly, a dwarf sends a distress call about a spirit assault. He frowns and opens his vision to scout. He sees the divine tracker facing a motionless wraith. The tracker attacks but the foe dodges cleanly. Every strike misses despite continuous assaults. Henwu delights in such an unpredictable opponent. A failed identification forces him to summon Jianfeng to battle. Jianfeng appears, taking a ready stance. He cleaves at the skull's neck instantly. Bone shards fall, but Dark High rebuilds the body. The gloom gathers, reassembling a fresh skeleton. Henwu's avatar appears, offering it a chance to submit. The skull attacks outright but cannot touch the divine clone. He warns the clone is eternal unless the domain itself is broken. Divine Tracker and Jianfeng close in, killing intent surging. Terrified after the beating, the skull kneels to surrender. He places his hand on its cranium to verify aptitude. The system identifies a Bone Wraith Lord with Bond regeneration talent. Meanwhile in class, teacher sternly reminds them this exam is a future-shaping threshold. Henwu recalls his grandfather's words about entering D-Do Academy to search for his parents. Wen Dian announces the class will transfer to Marvel C7932. With exam details to follow, students buzz. Only Xiaolong smugly believes his heir is coming and he will step on Henwu. Suddenly Xiaolong's phone rings from an unknown number. Luo Qian orders him to deal with Henwu during the exam. To entice him, the teacher gives a mysterious item as covert support. He sees the Along demon card and is stunned by its superhuman biopower. At the exam plane, the system announces a one-time daily insectrace transformation. True body death is permanent. The interface requests a race form. Available forms: Huangchang, Dwarf, Jianfeng, Bone Wraith Lord, and Wu chooses the undead form to avoid miasma contamination. Energy envelopes him before transformation. He becomes a living skeleton. Seeing the new frame, he confirms this realm suits spirit entities. He summons 100 Huangchang to test. They choke on miasma, Proving absolute suppression, he calls 3 special grade units as new main force. The space fills with dense death fog around the bone demon tree. He orders a harvest of bondum and fruits. A disturbance puts him on alert. Horrific bone creatures roar and charge. He tests his skeleton form's power, swiftly wiping them out, harvesting many bonum and fruits. He plans to offset points since he can't fight the main boss. Gathering all fruits, he boasts that points trade once but supply is endless. He posts in the class chat asking who needs 100 fruits for quests. The class argues about cheating until the system warns trades must use exam items only. He feels smug for monopolizing the supply. Xiao Long, in demon form, stands among wolves on a cliff. Seeing the message, he rejoices that Henwu exposed his location. Henwu checks the leaderboard. Worried minor quest can't hold his rank. A squad of bone soldiers approaches. They suddenly roar threateningly. He steps up and asks if they recognize their leader. They instantly prostrate in reverence. The system identifies them as common undead troops with hardbone talent. He is surprised to gain followers on first meeting. He orders them to lead him to their settlement. There, bone knights also kneel to accept him as lord. He is shocked to gain superhuman tier forces. A knight recalls once serving an elite legion before being trapped fighting flesh demons. Henwu plans to reinforce the whole unit. Gradually, he drops in the rankings. He decides it is time to strike back. He gives bone spirit stones for their upgrades and gear. Then he rallies the army to assault the demon nest. The formation enters a giant cavern. Estimating 10,000 foes, he opts to distract first. 1 bone soldier is sent to stir the entrance. Flesh demons swarm out immediately. They halt upon seeing the vast bone army. The miasmic host fills the cavern. 2 bone warriors rush in and pin a flesh demon. Denying counterattack, from afar, he coolly watches and notes slain flesh demons can convert into new troops. After checking, he finds his skeleton force exceeds 7,000. Doubling remaining enemies, he orders a full assault. Bone Knight delivers spirit stones, reporting mission complete. His score surges on the leaderboard. Elsewhere, a wolf scents his trail. Xiao Long urges it to track Henwu's position. He fumes seeing his rival gain 60 points from clearing the flesh demon nest. At the same time, a squad enters the cave to hunt him. They curse upon learning he raises bone armies for points. A hell demon hound pack is released to strike his camp. Hearing noise, he turns to see monsters charging. The Bone Legion rushes forward to shield their master. 3 demon hounds leap into the front line. Xiao Long is stunned at the massive army Henwu built in just 2 days. He transforms into a dragon, roaring to annihilate his foe. He bites a bone knight, making it scream in agony. Henwu shouts, asking why he was attacked unprovoked. Xiao Long roars he attacked out of spite and intends to kill him. He fires a lethal blast at his target. The bone soldiers reel at its power. Xiao Long beats his wings, whipping a storm and treating the army like trash. The Bone Legion roars in defiance. Henwu exhales in relief. Knowing the Wraith Lord form can revive, he orders a full retreat of his forces. Before leaving, he glares at Xiao Long with killing intent, promising revenge. Xiao Long checks the retreat board but doesn't see his name. Growing suspicious, he panics seeing Henwu still ranked. Thinking he was tricked by a fake death, he vows to hunt him to the end. But when he drags his army to the cave, it is already empty. He orders a 100-mile sweep. Missing no skeleton, Henwu hands out shining bone crystals. Determined to rebuild after losses, energy surges, rapidly empowering the bone troops. He checks the rankings and sees his still below academy standards. Reading quests, he notes the weak but numerous Qianlun demons suit mass skeleton training. Calculated, he orders a march to the Qianlun tribe. Later, a faculty conference begins. Teachers boast of their classes' demonized armies gaining high scores. Luqian mocks Henwu and is sternly warned by peers. He continues sneering, calling Henwu trash despite resource favoritism. Wendian angrily wagers Henwu will take the championship. Luoqin counters by staking a tier 3 divine office. He demands Henwu exceed 80 quest points. Teachers admit that Mark is brutal but grants access to top academies. Meanwhile, the Qianlun demon camp decays. Under 100,000 left, Henwu judges his near-million force at peak strength. He orders an attack. Bone Knights crush the twin leaders instantly. The demon clan still resists stubbornly. Soon he raises the skull banner declaring victory. Bone soldiers channel miasma into the defeated Qianlun demons. Their bodies rot into new skeletons. The system reports superhuman-grade reborn undead. Henwu is stunned they surpass even Bone Knights. One reborn skeleton channels cut, instantly restoring another frame. In moments, yet another reborn skeleton forms. From above, Henwu delights in his mighty bone horde. Bone Knight kneels and offers battle spoils. Reading it, has shocked that the abyssal seed source can catalyze alien life force. With such might, he fears no Zhang Xiaolong and submits the quest. He checks new quests. Purging native abyss demons yields 70 points. Without delay, he orders the march. A teacher beside Wen Dian praises Henwu for rising from last to top 4 in 3 days. Luoqin sneers that 4th place is meaningless, but top academies instantly send interview invitations to Henwu alone. He erupts, demanding why only Henwu is notified. Seeing the shifting rankings, he is shaken that Henwu has overtaken him. Hearing analysis from the homeroom teacher, he smirks, thinking as long as Henwu isn't champion he still wins. He urges Xiao Long to finish the 90-point quest before his rival. Meanwhile, Henwu reviews the hardest quests, slaying a demigod, killing ox demons, clearing deforest remnants. He calculates standings and chooses to wipe out the ox demon tribe first with his massive force. At that tribe, earth-shaking blasts rock the camp. A lion-headed warrior roars in fury while Xiao Long coldly excuses the destruction. Haridi demon charges, swinging brutal weapons. Within a few moves, both are nearly crushed by the giant monster. Terrified, they retreat, admitting even together they can't win, let alone beat Henwu. Suddenly, Henwu's bone army with glowing red eyes emerges, closing in. Xiaolong and the lion warrior blanch, cursing their luck at meeting a doom-grade undead legion. The skeleton troops storm in, crushing ox demon lines. The enemies struggle desperately against each wave. Seeing the two flee, Henwu coldly orders their path blocked. A colossal bone colossus appears behind its allies, shaking space with its roar. It slams down with world-shattering force. Meanwhile, the reborn skeleton chants, unleashing spiraling dark power. It forges a new bone entity from the fallen soul. The two foes panic at seeing death turn into endless soldiers and try to escape, but a bone warrior cuts them off, forbidding retreat. Henwu stands atop a bone steed, smiling a greeting. Turan stammers, asking his true race. Henwu gives no answer, only ordering Xiaolong crushed as a farewell gift. Xiaolong screams but is obliterated instantly. Turan trembles, begging peace and apologizing to survive. Henwu coldly asks what value he offers for mercy. Turan hastily promises half his treasures. Henwu accepts and tells him to scram. Turan flees the battlefield in relief. Henwu's army then flattens countless ox demons, piling bodies into mountains. Survivors kneel, pleading to submit. The system reports mission complete and adds 90 points. Henwu sees 2 quests left and hesitates on next steps. A new 9-point quest appears. He is stunned to see only 1 task remains for first place. Reading it, he confirms the final target is the demigod frogfolk. He weighs the danger but resolves to chase the championship. Decision made. He orders the army toward the frogfolk lair. At school, teachers report 11 classes have finished assessments. When Dian updates ranks Kunsheng 2nd, Henwu 3rd, Turan 7th. Luqian mocks that a demigod quest is suicide. When Dian replies that both Kunsheng and Henwu have already entered it. On another front, Kunsheng commands her thunderbirds to form ranks. The thunderflock rains golden lightning on the dark frogfolk. Bolts make them howl as flesh chars away. Their leader rages, launching Black Kai in return. He erects a Blacketh barrier, vowing to erase the invaders. In lightning bird form, Kunsheng panics at the worsening situation. A sudden energy beam crashes down. She is severely wounded and plummets. She bursts with thunder might, forging a giant lightning orb to smash the barrier. Meanwhile, she orders a full thunderflock bombardment. A chain of energy orbs cracks the defenses, the barrier shatters, and Kunsheng cries out in joy. But the frogfolk leader summons a mountain-devouring demon flower. Grayskin with blooded eyes, Kunsheng pales in horror. The hulking monster emerges, drooling hideously. It leaps, lashing out a long tongue to snare her. She's yanked straight into its maw. Its jaws clamp like steel gates. Her lightning cannot pierce the terrifying flesh, driving her to despair. Just then Henwu calls, startling her. Even so, she answers. He teases her misery, making her snap in annoyance. He shifts tone, proposing cooperation to save the thunder flock. She almost refuses but changes her mind. She agrees, setting conditions for loot sharing, and he accepts. She requests coordinates. He reports the swamp location. Receiving the Rendevis, Kunsheng deploys her thunderflock at once. Seeing their speed, Henwu is astonished. He waves a signal, mounting a thunderbird. He calls the attack. Simultaneously, he orders the bone army to advance. Thunderbirds and bone troops coordinate, raining lightning on the frogfolk. A frogfolk warrior charges in, smashing waves of bone soldiers. Henwu sees bones shatter. Realizing Tier 5 skeletons are too weak, he loudly summons Kong Guji. The bony controller forms Masdasuki armor from shards. The frogfolk gather power for a counterspell, but before forming, they are crushed by the Bone War General. He orders Fuguzi and the Nyuma mage to join battle. The 2 war beasts charge like a storm. They slam colossal pillars onto the frogfolk. Fuguzi chants, activating miasma synergy. Frogfolk corpses erupt with dark eye and turn into new skeletons. Seeing death become bone, the rest panic and one advance. Skeletons and thunderbirds combine, blasting lightning that routs the frogfolk. The chief roars in fury. He summons black clouds to wipe out the bone army, startling Henwu with the power. Henwu worries as he has committed all forces, yet the field still tilts. Just then, allied kin requests permission to fight. Henwu rejoices, clenching his fists to deploy his main force. He smirks, knowing he can now call more kin power at the clutch moment. The Diviner Realm gate opens, firing violent lightning. Jianfeng steps out, 4 arms, 4 swords, aura sky-piercing. Jianfeng and the red dwarf charge like lightning into the frogfolk host. The Huangchong telepathically beg to be sacrificed. Henwu hesitates but quickly steadies himself. He forms a vortex, drawing them into the right and gaining a shocking reward. A torch appears. Siki Kinghu, an artifact that purifies darkness and boosts energy. He raises the blue flame and recites the decree to banish shadow. The frogfolk recoil under the light, unable to advance. Henwu smirks and declares the counterattack. The frogfolk chief is shaken that his dark arts are neutralized. King Huo's radiance overwhelms their miasma entirely. Henwu flies before the mountain-devouring demon flower spewing toxins. Kunsheng is still trapped inside the monster's belly. He orders Jianfeng and the red dwarf to strike the finishing blow. The monster weakens, its belly torn open, freeing Kunsheng. She gathers lightning and hurls a thunder orb into it. The explosion shakes the ground, dust billowing. Kunsheng leads the thunder flock with Henwu's forces to crush the field. A massive blast then sweeps away an entire enemy wing. Skeleton giants stomp the remaining frogfolk flat. The chief rushes out roaring amid smoke, but Henwu, riding a thunderbird, closes in and suppresses him with King Hu. Kunsheng adds a thunder strike that forces him to his knees. Black smoke dissipates completely. She reminds him of their deal. She takes only the divine zone. The rest is his. The chief begs to trade his treasure for life. Henwu coldly refuses and orders Jianfeng to execute him. Afterward, before a mountain of treasure, Kunsheng notes the spoils belong to him. Henwu rummages through the hoard. He takes a necklace and puts it on her as reciprocation. Kunsheng Kun Sheng is delighted but pretends haughty acceptance. When Dian praises him and tells Han Wu to bring the Skull Legion to meet leadership, he warns not to slip before the true gods. The doors open, revealing the council with solemn faces. Han Wu grows uneasy, fearing they'll discover his sacrifice secrets and deity. A teacher questions Kun Sheng about her divine zone and her stored spirit value. The council is shocked she dares nurture a Wraith Lord without selling her divinity. Kun Sheng reports she has 4 spirit points. The teachers confirm she qualifies for all 3 academies as a preparatory student. She replies with formal gratitude. When it's Hemwa's turn, they begin reviewing his core profile. They confirm Huangchong is his core species. The teacher marks 10 points for species type. They question his single point of divinity. Then they continue recording on the appraisal sheet. Finally, they ask about the origin of Jian Feng and the skeletal lord he once used, and Wu requests not to answer to avoid exposing secrets. The council regretfully refuses him, telling him to return at the Gaokao exam. Director Xu is saddened that his talent wasn't accepted by the 3 institutes. Enwu smiles, confident he'll return with higher achievements. The teacher calmly wishes him success. Dian Wen says Hengao is beyond anyone, but he still has many chances. Tan Sheng appears, hinting about his desire to enter Imperial Capital Academy. He firmly states he must pass Imperial Capital to continue seeking his parents' whereabouts. Hearing this, she blushes, declares she'll choose Imperial Capital too, teasing he can still become her servant. Hemwu turns away, saying he can secure his own resources and must prepare for the next harvest, then leaves. Tan Sheng watches him go, smiling at his stubborn yet endearing nature. Scene shifts to the divine realm where Henwu stands in life energy-filled space. He activates his divinity card, checks his status. Pleased with his current brood scale and upgrade plan, he declares the opening of the first path. Jinlun Jilu. Energy spreads. Enveloping the Huangchong swarm, they gain defense and magic resistance boosts, becoming a defensive strain. He introduces the second path based on Ren and Zhu Jilu. This branch grants stealth and toxic assassination effects for ambush-type insects. A clansbug reports in panic that it accidentally decomposed as his bestowed sacred staff, and Wu is shocked and rushes to the scene. Shen Chui kneels trembling, begging punishment for ruining the sacred item. He restrains his anger, lifts it up, and tells it to learn from this. Afterwards, he inspects the still-hot disassembly machine. The system reports acquiring fire spirit ore and golden crystal blocks as materials to repair the sacred item. His stunned that he can restore the damaged law of devouring violence. He immediately fuses the materials, recreating the sacred item amid a burst of energy. The system reports common life forms can evolve after absorbing energy over 999 times. His surprised at the lowered requirement but worries about obtaining more sacred items for repairs. Just then he opens the system panel. He sees a message requesting help repairing a damaged sacred artifact. He considers whether he has enough sacred item materials to fix that weapon. He then decides to reply. 3 seconds later, the other party calls back, shocking him with the speed. The person asks to try repairing the weapon again and wants to send some treasures for evaluation, and Wu warns he can't be fooled and asks for the exact grade required. He only asks for low grade, but immediately receives a massive shipment that stuns him. After checking, he assesses the mountain of dense items. Thinking of the Anafraud Center, he hesitates. The protagonist operates the disassembly machine, unleashing intense heat. After a while, he processes all materials into a pile of shining resources. He sends them back while quietly keeping a small portion. Then he presses the in-session button on the system panel. The recipient rejoices, calling him a reborn benefactor. While he answers modestly, at the same time, Dianwen quietly absorbs energy from the pendant. He recalls his earlier claim of having reached Tier 3 healing. After the ordination, his teacher told him the road ahead is still long. While pondering, he suddenly receives a call from Hanwu. Hanwu asks how to find high-grade cores since online searches show nothing. The teacher says rare items are hoarded by major powers, but promises a share if they can defeat Liu Lakqian. He adds that the Bloodstar tournament awards rare core shards to winners. He warns of lethal danger when fighting residents and alien races of other civilizations. Hanwu still answers firmly that he has enough courage to join. Time flashes by. The next day they stand in the Grand Bloodstar Plaza. Both enter, masks hiding them from extraplanar demigod scrutiny. Reception hands them registration forms, while Hanwu writes. Dianwen explains the 3 brackets divine life, demigod, and true god. He explains defeat is judged by troop death ratio. Dian completes his information properly. The system instantly pings a match. Surprising him, he is abruptly teleported to a strange battlefield. Hanwu falls from an energy vortex, meeting a foe who guesses has a newbie. The rat-toothed man claims he handles rookies quickly. The stands murmur pity for the newcomer facing a butcher. Hearing this, Hanwu grows wary, gauging the foe's viciousness. The system orders troop deployment, giving 3 minutes until battle. Ratooth opens his gate, unleashing warrants and threatening him. Hanwu counters by summoning a dense legion of Huangchong. Ratooth sneers at his tiny insect core swarm. The battle opens as both sides flare with aura. The rats raise crossbows at Hanwu's side. A volley of bolts rains down like a waterfall. He commands Lunchong to erect a defense line. The Lunchong layer up to form a shield wall, blocking all bolts. Rat-Tooth orders continuous fire. Hanwu switches to ambush tactics within Zhuchong. One shadowbug darts into the rat formation, releases a field that binds enemy efficiency. Seeing them collapse, he sends Qin Mochong charging. The Tian Mochong spear forward like living drills. They unleash a toxic spike storm that drives the rats to despair. Survival indicators fluctuate wildly on the display. Spectators gasp at the overwhelming force. Cornered, the opponent hastily yields in dead silence. A diviner core fragment appears amid the rotting rat corpses. It floats before Hanwu, glowing and startling him. On touch, he feels familiar power as the system ends the match and pulls him backstage. Backstage, Dainwen pats his shoulder with lavish praise. The teacher asks if he wants a second match for more cores, and Wu agrees, saying his troops need tempering. Through many bouts, he wins 89 matches, gathering Tier 7 cores despite losses of Qin Mochong. He reflects that reaching Tier 8 requires an enormous number of cores. Dainwen suggests trying the True God bracket. He asks about the rewards for such a jump. The teacher explains one True God win equals dozens of current streaks. Henwu stays silent in long deliberation, then he places the bracket skip form on the counter. The receptionist warns of extreme danger, but he remains resolute. The arena erupts in jeers that his locusts aren't worthy of facing a true god. Others sneer that a true god has high-grade sacred gear and divine arts. Belittling his insect swarm, Dainwen worries this is a huge gamble, but Henwu tells him to bet on him anyway. The teacher laughs and stakes 500,000 divine power. Trusting completely, Henwu secretly wonders what the teacher's artifact purchases have to do with him. Soon he steps into his private divine realm, light cloaking him like a god. Puzzled not to see new sacred items, the laws of devouring and toxic enrichment show vast differences from his expectations. And just then Yuanzong calls, asking if he's still refining materials. Henwu replies that low-tier sacred items are abundant in his divine realm. He requests a batch of Tier 2 sacred items bearing the traits of poison, earth, shadow, and fire. Yuanzong immediately sends a massive shipment that stuns him. Lahulu Xiangqiu boosts defense, resistance, and recovery for his troops. Ying Ding of the shadow element unlocks oaths when cores are loaded. Henwu is thrilled because they are perfect for Lunchong, and in Chong, he immediately begins fusing the two sacred items. The clashing energies trigger a massive explosion. He absorbs and distributes the energy to the Huangchong swarm. Seeing two insect strains evolve brilliantly, he rejoices at the power spike. The system summons contestants to the arena. He clenches his fists and rushes toward the battleground. Spectators mock and bet hell last only seconds. Sighing Zhu, massive in form, mocks him as a rash rookie. He warns that courage cannot replace strength. Then he summons a colossal mammoth legion. The stands roar at the overwhelming aura of the true good side. Standing atop the mammoth king, he tells Henwu to entertain him. Henwu answers by summoning a thick black cloud of Huangchong. The three insect strains are raised by three different nests, bearing Toxidivarth laws. Siangju is briefly stunned by their true scale. The two armies clash like a storm. Henwu waves his hand, ordering the Enchong to strike. The shadow insects fire piercing spikes. They lock the mammoth's limbs with debilitating effects. Spectators gasp as a debuff topples even giant species. Seizing the moment, the Tian Mochong dart in like arrows. Yet the mammoths remain unfazed, standing like pillars. Siangju laughs, claiming no swarm can pierce mammoth divine hide. Henwu smirks, asking if he's certain of that judgment. As he speaks, the Toxidivar Chi Mochong detonate in a violent shockwave. Siangju panics and orders the mammoths to shield their king. Henwu instantly commands the Baojiang Huangchong to charge. On contact they explode, making the mammoths howl in pain. Siangju grits his teeth and casts brutal healing magic. A healing glow restores the mammoths, letting them fling the insects away. He folds his arms, declaring hell allow surrender once over half the troop is lost. Henwu replies coldly that his strength is far from over. He summons the colossal Numa and orders an allowed assault. The demon beasts swarm the battle line. A massive root whip strikes the mammoth's head. Simultaneously, he calls the skeletal army the Bone Lord, Bone Controllers, and Bone Restorers. He leaps onto the Bone Lord's palanquin and assigns roles. The Bone Lord snorts, annoyed at being pushed. A Bone Restorer dashes toward the fallen mammoth corpse. Amid a billow of white dust, it raises its staff, releasing a fierce resurrection surge. The mammoth corpse instantly revives and leaps up. Sighing freezes, curses, then orders the mammoth to enter war mode. The mammoth herd charges in and smashes the bone troops to pieces. Henwu sends the bone controllers while the Niuma retreat. The controllers gather energy. Manipulating scattered bones, they merge into a colossal bone nation giant and stomp, causing an explosion. Siangju gapes at the massive skeletal creature, but he quickly regains calm, continuing his savage sorcery. The mammoths grow even larger and charge faster, yet the Bone Nation blocks them with ease. It lifts a beast and slams it onto the stone floor. The ground quakes as if breaking apart. The Bone Nation leaps like a bolt and delivers a sky-cracking punch. But the mammoth grabs its arm and slams it down. It rears up, trying to crush its foe. The Bone Nation twists away at the exact moment, then kicks its head, making the mammoth howl. Seeing the opening, Henwu shouts in order to finish it. The Bone Nation climbs its back, pounding its skull relentlessly, then snaps off one tusk amid its agonized cry. Siangju is stunned speechless, unable to counter. The Bone Nation snaps the other tusk, making the mammoth weep. Henwu is shaken by the Bone Warrior's brutality. The Bone Nation dropkicks the mammoth like a ball, landing it before Xiangju. He freezes, sweating, panicking as he orders the manhwa to charge. The manhwa rush forward, but on contact, they're crushed flat by the Bone Nation. The rest are kicked flying in all directions. The Bone Giant continues hammering thunderous blows, but the manhwa are too many, repeatedly dislocating joints and slowing it. One rams its leg hard. Seeing the advantage, Siangju howls for his troops to pulverize the giant. Sensing danger, Henwu summons the Numa Wang for rescue. The massive Numa plow through the manhwa assault. Meanwhile, the Bone Controllers chant, releasing thick evil miasma. Moments later, the mammoth corpses rise as white skeletons. The skeletal herd and manhwa clash in frenzy. The impact booms like thunder, dust engulfing everything. When the dust clears, only 4 manhwa remain, while while the Niume remain nearly full in number, stunning the crowd. Sang-ju collapses, gasping, and declares surrender. A divine realm core fragment forms, absorbing energy from mammoth remains. Henwoo takes it, marveling at its purity far above lower tiers. Suddenly a voice summons him to meet the management. Before reacting, has swept into a spatial vortex. Soon is moved into a sealed room where staff calm him. Henwoo demands the reason. They say his tier jump match has been recorded. They state is qualified to become an heir of the arena, part of a test selecting a future master. He gapes, unable to believe is targeted. He doubts it since the arena's benefits are too great to hand to outsiders. He breathes deeply to steady himself, then asks directly about hair count, rights, and burdens. The system praises his clarity. There are currently 349 hairs. Of those, 221 are divine life tier. The rest are demigods and only one true god. Hairs receive permanent teleport coordinates at fixed cost and may build a private Bloodstar arena in their divine realm to raise their species. The duty is that once hairs reach 500, they must undergo the ritual to choose the next master. Henwoo guesses the ritual is likely a survival battle to choose the last one standing. After a pause, the system asks directly if he accepts. Henwoo firmly agrees. Instantly, an inheritance surge blasts into his body. In a blink, his return to the mortal realm. Dianwen rushes over, ecstatic at his great fortune. Before he understands, something for settlement is shoved into his hands. Seeing the balance, he freezes at the 9 zeros, a full billion. Dianwen calmly advises him to buy suitable divine gear instead of spending wildly. Henwoo wonders how he can craft divine gear without reaching demigod tier. The teacher reassures him that a shop sells gear suitable for his level. Just then Sang-ju charges in grandly, calling him a locust. The protagonist panics and hides behind Dianwen for help. Dianwen spreads his arms protectively, daring anyone to touch his student. Sang-ju waves, saying he's not here for revenge. He introduces himself as Hang Meng, wanting friendship out of respect for him with strength. Henwoo shakes his hand, surprised his exciting university student. Curious, he asks his age and academic level. Assuming Hang Meng isn't in college yet, Henwoo awkwardly admits he's only a high schooler. Hang Meng is shocked, thinking he's joking. Henwoo asks Dianwen to confirm his teacher affirms he isn't even a preparatory student. Hang Meng nods in admiration since his goal is Imperial Capital University, the strongest academy. He pats Henwoo's shoulder, promising to recommend him to the prep list if he keeps strengthening his troop corps. Henwoo excitedly asks again when hearing Hang Meng can help, and stresses teammates ease the path to godhood. Hang Meng points upward, laughing that once Henwoo passes the test, he'll earn reward resources, so there's no reason to skip such benefits. Henwoo clasps hands in thanks, formally asking brother Meng for support. Hang Meng warns that his potential is high, but he must bolster strength and invest resources in nurturing hero units. Scene shifts to Wan Baolu, a modern street blending elegant ancient style. The protagonist and Dianwen head to a treasure pavilion with a refined vintage aura. Dianwen pushes the door, calmly urging both to enter. A charming purple-haired girl in a form-fitting outfit greets them. She smiles, asking what gear tier they want or which smith they seek. Leading them, she whispers for someone inside to contact Master Tony and report Dian's visit. A teleport gate opens, and she gracefully invites them through. Henwoo and Dianwen exchange a silent glance. At last, Henwoo musters courage and steps into the light gate. Master Tony teases Dianwen, asking if today's prey is lucrative. Hearing the jab, Henwoo fumes and plots escape. Dianwen steadies him and proudly introduces his student. Tony laughs awkwardly, saying the shop forbids cheating or gudging students. Henwoo retorts irritably, claiming hunting to earn points isn't easy for paying prices. Dianwen bursts laughing, explaining Tony has a sharp tongue but top-tier skill. Tony scowls, asking who said is harsh, nearly snapping back if not for Dian. Before he can go on, Dianwen pulls a curtain, excited to show the workshop. Behind it is a bright gallery full of exotic weapons radiating power. Tony boasts each piece is his exclusive creation. After the tour, Dianwen asks directly which item Henwoo has his eye on. Henwoo calculates the ancient jar's value at 4 divinity points, about 580 million divine power. He decisively chooses the 2-star sacred gear Hu. It has a breeding chamber and insect-luring ability to aid swarm evolution. Tony secretly praises the choice as fitting Henwoo's abilities. He offers the payment code, mockingly asking if Henwoo can afford it. Dianwen snaps, demanding a discount and forcing Tony to yield. Tony settles at 600 million divine power plus a bonus item. As they leave, Tony calls Henwoo back. He displays a new sacred gear built from ancient civilization remnants. Claiming it suits Henwoo, Dianwen picks it up and examines it carefully. He suddenly cries out in shock, then scolds Tony for offering something that looks broken. Feeling disrespected, Tony reassures him, explaining it's Tan Lam, a relic that grows by devouring divine gear. He says its civilization once plundered divine gear, but such items lose function unless their owner dies. Tony pitches it to Henwoo for 1 billion divine power as a rare extinct artifact. Henwoo doubts it, thinking the price too low for something that destroyed a civilization. Seeing him hesitate, Tony explains the incomplete scroll caused slight defects, but it can still devour gear. Dianwen grumbles it's broken, provoking Tony, who hates slander of his work. After weighing it, Henwoo decides to buy it for 4 million, shocking Dianwen, but Henwoo already plans to use Tan Lam to strip enemy divine gear power. He gently tells his teacher he truly values Tony's work but only has 4 million left. Tony awkwardly asks if he really values the item. Hearing confirmation, he happily sells it for 4 million as a gesture of friendship. They complete the exchange of divine power and gear. Scene shifts to Henwoo's small house. He meditates within a ritual array before 3 glowing sacred items. Henwoo drips blood onto each gear. They immediately absorb his blood. Light spreads, signaling acceptance of their master. A frog suddenly jumps out of the guhu, and Wu orders it to begin insect cultivation. He looks at Tan Lam, puzzled that it remains motionless like a fake. Suddenly, the artifact emits mysterious radiance across the room. From the light, a dog leaps out. As the energy fades, it lands with shimmering fur, and Wu suspects it looks exactly like a husky. Tan Lam growls, demanding to eat divine gear, and Wu laments is broke and has nothing for it. But when he tosses out a piece of gear, it reacts instantly. The dog darts in, chomps the gear, and swallows it whole. Done. And Wu folds his arms, wondering what other factions are doing. Elsewhere, the Huangchong swarm feeds leisurely, the red dwarves dig tirelessly, the night fiends discuss their grand structures. Jianfeng meditates, radiating strong spiritual pressure. The skeletons gnaw at glittering or chunks. Henwu reflects that with the sacred item tricked from Yuan Chong, he restored the law of devouring to tier 3, letting creatures reach elite rank just by eating. If he upgrades further, surplus Huangchong could evolve to extraordinary rank in mass. Some time later, Henwu stands amid a vast sea of flying Huangchong, eyes resolute. He cries the command to sacrifice 13 billion Huangchong. A colossal vortex instantly draws all insects into the right. Seeing the reward appear, Henwu is stunned by how vastly richer it is than before. 3 options appear: 10,000 extraordinary night fiends, the Baxiaoba Gang divine gear, or a tier 2 sacred item Dianho Shi. Seeing Dianho Shi's half-humanoid form, he rejects it, wanting a full humanoid type. After choosing, the sacred item appears and glows brilliantly. He crushes it, scattering fragments. Powerful pillar of light shoots skyward as if splitting space. The Huangchong swarm dives into the energy stream to absorb it. They evolve rapidly, their bodies expand, carapaces hardening, and Wu shouts in excitement at the spectacle. The system reports Huangchong Ren have become extraordinary beings, low intelligence, flight capable, humanoid, granting 50,000 faith per day. He is stunned by the massive faith. Confident divinity is within reach. Suddenly Dianwen calls. He seriously warns that tomorrow Xijing Academy will send people for revaluation. Hanwu agrees. Next day at school, a male student slings an arm over Hanwu, offering rare resources. Hanwu playfully asks if his clan can supply core shards above tier 7 up to dim tier. The boy nods, quoting around 4 million divine power even with connections. Hearing the price, Hanwu replies coldly with a single understood. Staying firm, the boy offers a trade for 1,000 extraordinary skeleton knights to offset the cost. Hanwu agrees instantly without hesitation. The boy secretly regrets not demanding a Heretier bone controller. Just then Dianwen enters, saying the examiner is waiting. The examiner reacts with brief surprise, then sneers at Hanwu. He mocks that entering the inner circle doesn't mean he can pass Xijing's test. He explains the mission: infiltrate Dalongcheng, a small but complete mega-civilization city with full class and level systems. If identified as a Demerome being, classed residents will hunt and eliminate him. The sole target: assassinate a fortress hero. Hanwu asks for the city's troops' strength and hero count. The teacher answers: tens of thousands of residents. Over 10 are class holders. 5 heroes enter and scout the rest yourself. Hanwu trades points for 3 tier 1 sacred items. Dianwen encourages and approves. He stands before the blazing divine realm core, places a smaller core inside. Light explodes. The system reports the core has risen to dim tier with expanded space. He loads the tier 1 toxic thread to grant poison attributes to the brood, then earth core to boost earth traits and defense. Lastly, Yuxing Chuangong to enable summoning bow battalions with energy weapons. Once loaded, the divine realm erupts in intense brilliance. 3 radiant streams of distinct colors appear, like a luminous painting filling the space. Seeing this, Hanwu feels confident. Poison line, earth armor, and archery units are complete for the test. Next day at school, the examiner prepares the assessment. He presents a light orb, saying contact will teleport him and his core to Dalong's outskirts. Hanwu places his hand on it. It flares violently, dizzying him. In a blink, he's outside Dalong, surrounded by a vast black sea of Huangchong. The system flags him as an intruder. Staying marks him as a demon entity with the title Ma Huang Ji Wang. His personal profile appears, making him pause. He immediately checks the levels of his 2 Huangchong Ren heroes. Reading them, his stunned their level 60. Far beyond expectations, a Huangchong Ren flies over to report they're under attack. Hanwu leaps onto a bug's back and orders it to scout the battle. Reaching the war zone, he sees dense Huangkong swarms filling the sky. His shocked by the abnormal number of demon beasts, a young man named Than says more beasts mean more money to upgrade the team. A Huangchong core drops out and is picked up by a water spirit. She hands it to a witch, receiving a bright smile and thanks. A hot ember girl fires energy nonstop, shouting to wipe out the weak Huangkong. Than tells the team to stay disciplined and coordinated. From above, Hanwu quietly watches. Beside him, the Yanhuing bug also observes. The system shows Than as level 3, a longblood warrior with greatsword, body armor, sword wool, dragon blood, and skills shattering slash and mighty force slash. He sees the group wearing matching badges. Thun's silver, the other's bronze. He deduces Thun is the leader. As more bugs arrive, Thun panics and prepares the team to retreat, and Wu orders a Huangkong Ren to probe their strength. When Huangkong Ren instantly charges out, it appears blocking Thun's team. It roars, fanning its wings to create a storm to stop them. Thun orders the team to split while he stalls the enemy. He swings his glowing greatsword, sending a bright force wave at the Huangkong Ren. The strike leaves only a faint mark on its skin. Realizing his attack is useless, Thun pales in despair. The Huangkong Ren closes in and kicks him away with a painful scream. It then charges straight at Than's teammates. Soon the whole group is tightly restrained. Henwu approaches, his aura rising. A terrifying energy demon face manifests behind him. Seeing this, Than panics, cursing and forbidding Henwu to come closer. Henwu gets angry at being called ugly. He folds his arms and sternly demands they describe how they see him. Than responds with insults, refusing to cooperate. Instantly the Huang Kong Ren fires energy through Than in rage. Henwu scolds it for overdoing the attack. Seeing Than dead, the two girls burst into grief. Annoyed by the noise, Henwu orders them all silence. A survivor trembles and asks what Henwu wants. Henwu emits killing intent, forcing him to describe his appearance. The man sweats and stutters out some facial features. Henwu imagines himself being likened to an ugly insect. He points at the man, telling him to continue. After questioning, Henwu releases the group to leave. The survivor runs off to report the Demon Beast army. Henwu rides a Huang Kong to secretly tail him. He observes the destination, planning to keep it secret by eliminating him. A Huang Chong immediately shoots Venom, killing the man. Henwu considers the enemy forces too many and needing more power. A group of goblins appears, kneeling to greet Henwu, surprising him but he accepts it. On closer look, he sees the goblin leader is triple turn level 62. Henwu asks his job origin. The leader says he ate adventurers and absorbed job shards. The answer gives Henwu the idea to let his locust swarm learn jobs. He orders the locust to track adventurers and collect job shards. Once enough shards are gathered, Henwu decides to fuse a job. He releases energy, making the job shards float and rotate. The system shows available jobs, and he picks Archer to cover long-range attacks. The Huang Kong Ren is instantly granted a bow in the Archer class with new skills. Henwu is excited, thinking with the first turn shard he could reach third turn. A Huang Kong reports a strong disturbance ahead that they dare not approach. Henwu is led to the cave and listens to the confirmed location. Entering, he senses dense Kai and divine power. Stirring his curiosity, the group moves deeper to a massive rock wall. Below lies a giant chained black dragon radiating fierce power. Henwu recalls lectures on being sealed by off-world civilizations. A nearby Huang Kong activates an infoscan spell. Data shows black dragon elf is level 103, true form 149. Rebel class, under seal. Suddenly, the dragon awakens and releases its pressure. The force makes Tu Huangchong reel. Nearly locked by its aura, Lo Dao tries to approach, forcing Henwu to shout for him to stop. The shout breaks the pressure. Freeing the Tu Huangchong, the black dragon roars angrily, threatening to devour the souls and bodies of intruders. It gathers energy in its mouth, forcing Henwu's group to scatter. It blasts a destructive shot, kicking up clouds of stone dust. Henwu hides behind a wall as John Jin calls out asking if it's stopped. Seeing Henwu peek out, the dragon forms an energy orb, shouting at whoever dares mock Enyost. Terrified, Henwu runs and yells for everyone to scatter again. When the smoke clears, he edges closer, declaring he came to help, not fight. The dragon rages, claiming to see through his schemes and threatening to eat him if he doesn't leave. Henwu faces it, raises a goblin bow, mocking that it's chained yet still wants to devour others. He fires a bright arrow at it. The arrow bounces off its scale armor, and the dragon mocks its own invincible defense. Insulted, Henwu charges with his sword. He slashes a powerful light arc at the dragon, but it leaves only a shallow scratch on its scales. He gathers energy and divine force into the blade, determined to cut through its absurd hardness. His subsequent strikes grow heavier and sharper. The dragon roars in pain as blood sprays from the tears. It glares hatefully, cursing the lowly being who hurt it. Henwu draws an energy dagger, coldly threatening to put it in eternal sleep. Cornered, the dragon softens its tone and asks what he wants. Henwu says he dreams of killing a hero in Delong City and needs extra support. The dragon sighs, saying it's been sealed for years, and the Special Adventurer Guild's chains resist even dark energy corrosion. Henwu immediately asks if the chains are divine artifacts. The dragon proudly confirms. Hearing this, he smiles and summons Greed. Radiating mystic aura, he brings it close to the chain, ordering it to devour with full force. Greed's flames erupt, burning the links. Soon a section of chain is severed. The dragon stares wide-mouthed in shock. It urges Henwu to cut the rest quickly, annoyed by its arrogance. Henwu frowns in warning, yet the dragon keeps barking orders to cut the chain at once. Henwu coldly reminds it he has shown goodwill and asks what right it has to command him. Pressed, the dragon softens again, promising to help kill the hero if freed. Henwu changes terms, demanding it serve him for 100 years to repay the rescue. The dragon explodes in rage, calling the request delusional. Henwu replies Esli that one saved can also be killed for not cooperating. The threat startles the dragon. After thinking long, it reluctantly agrees to 100 years of service and asks to be unchained. Henwu smiles and presents a contract for it to sign first. The dragon fumes, saying this is no different from slavery. Henwu then shows a sparkling darkstar crystal as bait to lure it into signing. Seeing the stone, the dragon's stomach growls, its hunger surging. It immediately signs the contract without hesitation. Henwu releases the gluttonous wolf, telling it to chew through the chains. The wolf breaks the links quickly and cuts them all. Freed, the black dragon shoots upward, unleashing energy that shakes the cave and roars in joy. Scene shifts to Delong City's Grand Guild, a majestic, authoritative building. News of the Black Dragon's escape spreads, prompting an emergency meeting. A bearded man with mountain-like presence, Hero Ji Wusheng, rises, declaring 5 of them must unite to slay the weakened dragon. The pink-haired saintess worries it will hide to recover and calls all adventurers to join the search. Hero Bing Hu Jinhao says its dark energy will mass-level monsters. He stresses they must act first to control the situation. The Feng Xingji scoffs that a freshly unsealed dragon is nothing, asking the Dragon Slayer if he agrees. The Dragon Slayer boasts he once killed 6 wind dragons himself, so this is trivial. Ji Wusheng Shing sternly warns that a Rebel-class Black Dragon is far more dangerous than normal. The Dragon Slayer gets irritated, claiming his Tier 4 Dragon Slayer power is unquestionable. Shing falters, mumbling vague words. The Dragon Slayer insists on taking responsibility for the kill and tells them to hold Dalong City. The Xingzi immediately volunteers to assist. He turns to the group, saying he'll accompany Hui. In the wilds, countless monsters kneel before the giant black dragon and Han Wu. Han Wu spreads his arms to give a speech, while the dragon calls for a monster alliance to hunt adventurers. The monsters whisper doubts about whether they can counterattack humanity. Han Wu offers energy crystals as rewards, promising to trade equipment and job shards for crystals to raise their power. Some time later, the dragon drips its blood into a cauldron. It says dragon blood can help Han Wu break into third turn, but demands at least 500 dark crystals to compensate the loss. The thick dragon blood smell makes Han Wu cover his nose and mock that repayment should be in installments. The system announces he has advanced to third turn as a black dragon warrior with boosted physique and resistances. Dragon blood energy rises around him, exciting him to activate black dragon transformation. Majestic dragon wings instantly sprout from his back. His body becomes half draconic, the system labeling him Demon Emperor King. Level 125. With new talents, he secretly feels confident enough to face Dalong City's heroes. The black dragon suddenly looks up, sensing something abnormal. Han Wu asks in surprise what's happening. Two energy signatures streak toward them like lightning. The Dragon Slayer and his teammate descend. Kicking up dust, the Dragon Slayer squints and grins wickedly, eager to kill a pureblood dragon to advance his class. He orders the Feng Xingji to guard the perimeter. The latter confidently agrees. The Dragon Slayer raises his hand, unleashing violent aura. A massive storm barrier forms, enclosing the battlefield. Seeing Han Wu is stunned to encounter a level 125 monster right outside the city. The Feng Xingji shouts that no one will interrupt his big brother's battle. A Huangchong instantly scans the opponent's info. Data shows Kazmith, level 131, Wind Strider class, wielding a divine wind ring and a greenwood bow. Han Wu leaps and hurls his twin swords at Kazmith, but Kazmith dodges upward in a blur, leaving an explosive dust cloud. Before Han Wu can react, he uses supersonic speed to appear behind him. He creates clones and unleashes a furious combo, making Han Wu cry out in pain. Swallowing his anger, Han Wu orders the Huangkong swarm to break the barrier. At the same time, the Dragon Slayer summons a ferocious host of phantom dragons. They charge in, while the black dragon counters with a fierce roar. The phantom dragon energies are easily dodged by the black dragon, but when it slips, the Dragon Slayer seizes the chance to close in. He swings his sword hard, making the black dragon roar in pain. It crashes to the ground, dust billowing everywhere. The Dragon Slayer stomps on its wounded body. He arrogantly rests his sword on his shoulder, ordering the black dragon taken to Dalong City. The Feng Xingzi opens a portal, saying he'll handle it while his boss goes first. He and two dragon souls escort the black dragon through the gate to a desolate area. Seeing this, Han Wu panics and orders the locusts to break the storm barrier no matter what. Tens of thousands of locusts dive into the storm wall like self-immolation. Before long, the barrier begins to crack. Kazmith freezes as he sees the shield breaking, yet he stays composed and fiercely counterattacks the swarm. After slaughtering many, he gasps, realizing his near exhaustion, and tries to flee, but before escaping, a sea of locusts collapses on him, making him scream in terror. In moments, Kazmith is swallowed, crying out in despair. The locusts cover him completely, making him drop his weapons. Soon his body is gnawed to a dry skeleton on the ground. The system congratulates Han Wu for completing the mission and opens a return portal. He raises his hand to refuse, saying he won't go back yet. The mysterious man asks if he plans to raid the camp to save the Black Dragon, and Han Wu confirms firmly. The man warns this means opposing 4 heroes plus millions of people and adventurers. Han Wu grows even more resolute, requesting full unlock of his divine domain in exchange for upgrading the mission to capturing Dalong City. The man is stunned, asking if he truly intends to challenge the entire city. Once approved, Han Wu summons all his clans. The Jianfeng tribe appears, heroic body level 140. The Shenzhui tribe manifests, heroic body level 113. The Rumo tribe arrives, heroic body level 135. The Skeleton Lord level 132 and 7,586 Bone Warriors join as well. Han Wu calculates humanity's forces as overwhelming and needing more alliances to restrain lower ranks. He orders the Locusts to send word to the alliance while Jianfeng and Rumo follow him into a secret forest. Scene shifts to a dark, dense forest. There, a giant wolf questions goblins why the alliance still exists now that the Black Dragon is dead. Should they just wait to be wiped out by humans? The creatures mockingly suggest rescuing the Black Dragon and stealing energy crystals to share. Before the sentence ends, the wolf's head is severed. The goblins freeze in terror. Han Wu steps forward, coldly accusing them of daring to betray him. His oppressive gaze makes them all uneasy. One goblin angrily objects, asking what right he has to look down on them. Han Wu cuts him off with a fierce palm strike. The victim frantically raises its arms to block. The force crushes it, leaving 2 survivors trembling. Han Wu declares it in order any disobedience means death. The goblins kneel instantly, pledging obedience. Han Wu leads the monster army toward Dalong City for assault. There, the Black Dragon is bound tightly with heavy guards stationed. A subordinate reports the execution ceremony is ready and asks about the Wind Strider. The Dragon Slayer tries to stay calm, planning to look for him after the ceremony. A violent tremor startles him, Alarms blare, civilians are ordered to shelter, and warriors mobilize. A guard shouts upon seeing goblins and locusts flooding in. He urges the mages to fire spells at the airborne swarm, but they are pierced by arrow volleys from above. The arrows are dropped by 3 Huang Kong Ren. The surviving mage counterattacks with magic power. The opponent dodges cleanly, causing explosive collisions. A giant beast with a hammer charges straight at the gate. Its thunderous strike shatters the wall's surface. From above, Henwu orders the skeletons to prepare to charge. They cast spells turning fallen soldiers into skeletons. The risen bone troops rush into slaughter. The city gate crumbles in smoke and dust. Tang Wei appears, coldly facing the giant beast. Tang Wei raises a massive thorn wall sealing the entrance. The beast freezes. Stunned, the Dragon Slayer rages, gripping his sword blazing with energy. Barrier forms to halt the enemy army. He orders adventurers to form battle lines. Mages activate a large magic array over the area. Spell rain pours down, obscuring vision. Goblins hit by blasts are flung away screaming in pain. The dense bombardment engulfs the monsters in the mist. At the execution ground, the Dragon Slayer condemns the Black Dragon before the crowd. Hearing this, Henwu panics and orders the bone troops to advance. The skeletons gather mist fragments and compress them into a new form. Gigantic bone effigy emerges. It crackles with lightning and enters the burning vine zone. The giant skeleton roars like thunder. It tears the barrier apart with brute force. The sweeping motion clears debris, sending smoke skyward. With the path open, Henwu leads monsters in to rescue the Black Dragon. The dragon widens its eyes upon seeing him. It asks in shock why he risked coming. The Dragon Slayer sneers, calling him suicidal. He stumps down, marking the opening attack. He lunges like lightning, hurling insults. Henwu clenches his fist and shouts a death order, but is blasted back by the Rumu. Coughing blood and fury, Tang Wei lashes vines toward Henwu, but thunderforged blasts from the Shen Jui burn the vines away. Tang Wei gasps in shock. The Dragon Slayer summons a vicious dragon soul. Vowing destruction, the soul charges with glowing jaws open wide. The giant bone form strikes its snout, making it howl. The two monstrous forms clash violently. After watching, the skeleton lord sees the moment arrive. It stumps and rockets upward with brutal force. Its body clamps onto the dragon soul's back. Steel jaws bite through the soul's form. Agonized roars echo across the plaza. The Dragon Slayer goes berserk, striking to avenge his dragon soul. His shining slash descends like execution. The giant skeleton's arm is severed, its body collapsing, but dark magic instantly reattaches its limbs. It counterattacks so fast the foe can't think. The giant skeleton bites the dragon soul again, horrifying the Dragon Slayer. Henwu calls greed to unlock the shackles at once. Freed, the Black Dragon praises its rebel ally. Henwu feeds it dark star crystals to heal and serve long-term. A sudden shock makes him whirl around. The Shen Jui is being crushed by vines. He sends a Huang Kong Ren to rescue it. Worry rises that their army may be wiped out. The Black Dragon decides to grant him the title of Great Rebel. Radiant light coils around his body. An ancient spell transmits new power, the system confirming a new talent. He drops to one knee, but his will burns fiercely. Henwu grips his blade, unleashing force as he charges. The wild power scares the Dragon Slayer into raising his sword defensively. The crushing blow forces him to spit blood, crying out at the overwhelming strength. A bone shadow flashes toward him. The skeleton lord pierces his body and laughs gleefully. The Skull King summons mutated bloodbone from the dead. A surge of darkness erupts where the vanished body was. He unleashes a sky-shattering kick at the Saintess. She's flung away. Rolling in pain, she screams in rage over the Dragon Slayer's death, but he declares she's next. He assigns the Shenju to deliver double retribution. The Shenju lifts its massive hammer and charges forward. Each strike booms like thunder tearing the air. After downing two foes, he rushes to where a swordsman still fights. From behind, he hacks down with a chilling slash. Binghu Jianhao is forced to turn and block in panic. The Jianfeng warrior seizes the chance to cross-slash. Caught between them, the last enemy collapses. The remaining Saint-class fighter panics completely. He mutters in despair and tries to flee, but after a few steps he freezes. He sees the mutated bloodbone advancing like death itself. A giant ox suddenly charges out and swings a club. A single blow ends his life. The Skull King declares victory and opens trade of spoils for crystals. The monsters cheer loudly in triumph. He wishes the Black Dragon a swift restoration of its former might. The dragon, moved, accepts him as a loyal companion. The mentor appears, praising him and granting 3 hours to clean up. Henwu requests a stable gate to the Divine Realm in exchange for all spoils. The mentor warns other civilizations may invade through it. Determined, Henwu insists the mentor agrees to stabilize it and set early warnings for 10 days. 10 days later, Dialong City is assigned to him and the Bone Army to hold. The mentor urges him to retreat to the Divine Realm soon to avoid more losses. He replies he understands. He opens a portal and sends the entire army back. At the academy, Henwu steps out and meets teacher Dian Wen. The teacher asks why his eyes have changed. He checks his phone, suspecting it's due to the rebel class. The profile shows special talents and divine abilities. He tries to activate a talent but is blocked for not reaching Godbuddy level. Teacher Dian Wen praises him for completing the trial and earning reserve status. The teacher explains the academy admission requirements. He has the second requirement but lacks one more. He complains it's difficult. The teacher encourages persistence. He asks how to raise divine points. The teacher says he must wait for the next evaluation in 28 days. He looks doubtful. The teacher sternly insists he's telling the truth. In the Divine Realm, he sighs and decides to take a risk. He again uses the life sacrifice skill, but his divine attribute doesn't increase at all. The next day also brings nothing, forcing him to repeat. By day 7, he cries, regretting selling his divine point card. Suddenly his phone vibrates with a message. Yuan Zong asks about the relic's origin. giving him the idea to borrow divine points. He immediately requests one divine point. Yuanzhong hesitates, afraid to offend the mysterious great deity. Finally, he agrees. Henwu receives a gift box, delighted, thinking it's what he asked for, but inside is only a strange stellar river artifact. He searches it online. He learns stellar river civilization is radioactive, producing high-value gene stones. He's shocked to get a chance to compete for gene stones like a god tier. Then he sees news of a Gakin going bankrupt from faulty radiation ore. He remembers his refinery can create radiation crystals to help beasts condense gene stones. He arrives at a town near Stellar River ruins. He wears a full cloak for safety. A local approaches, offering to be a guide. He asks why he should hire him. The man boasts he knows the monster nests and trading routes in the area, but he cuts him off, only needing to know where radioactive ore is sold. The man is stunned that a deity seeks such material. He recounts how a god king bought fake ore and lost his entire beast ranch. A strange voice interjects, claiming it's because they didn't let him handle the purchase. And Wu turns to see a blonde man greeting politely. The guide introduces him as Major Mine Owner Haixian Sheng. He boasts he supplies most of the clean ore in the region, and Wu orders pure samples and pays testing fees, which he gladly accepts. At the Stellar River ruins, he trades ore bags for a large batch of radiation crystals for experiments. A level 1 mutant wolf appears. He uses it to test evolutionary potential. He tosses ore to it like calling a pet. The wolf eagerly licks it. A horn sprouts on its head. Its body begins to swell. One lick pushes it to level 2. Mutation intensifies fiercely. It rockets to level 3 within minutes. Is thrilled, thinking of using it on his clans, but the creature can't endure the radiation and explodes. He picks up the remaining gene stone, warning himself of side effects. He checks that the Fang-type stone requires tier 3 rights and shortens clan lifespan. Is interrupted by a threat demanding the stone and crystals. The newcomer is Zhang Gang, who doesn't recognize him, and Wu calmly asks what if he refuses. Zhang Gang growls he'll take his life. He unleashes a pack of mutant wolves to attack, and Wu drips blood to trigger transformation. His body turns into a black dragon, wings spreading. The wolves are stunned. He wipes out the entire pack in one move. Zhang Gang brings reinforcements, ordering cavalry to charge. The wolf riders storm forward like a tempest, and Wu shoots up to evade the charge. Looking down, he mocks the outdated tactic. He says he mastered this pattern long ago. Zhang Gang roars back in fury. He uses divine arts to force Henwu downward. Henwu tilts and loses flight control. Is forced to land right before the wolf riders. Cursing his luck, ordered killed. He must flee. He sees a forbidden zone warning sign. He rushes in anyway, wondering why the enemy won't give up. Zhang Gang still drives wolf cavalry to pursue, and Wu spots twisted monsters lurking in the forbidden zone. They suddenly drop from the treetops. He dodges their attacks. He veers away, deciding the place is too dangerous and must retreat. The wolf riders clash with the monsters. The two sides battle violently. The riders falter. Zhang Gang charges in to intervene. He screams for the fugitive's whereabouts, then suddenly feels dread. He decides to withdraw before disaster strikes. Elsewhere, Henwu relaxes by a riverside. He plans to drink to refresh himself, but a fish with human legs leaps out, scaring him away. Checking the map and not seeing the river, he realizes he's lost. A group of monsters growls, blocking his path. He steadies himself, determined to gather more gene stones. He tosses some crystals for them to consume. They explode from overload, letting him collect the stones easily. Hours later, darkness falls. He tells himself to find shelter. Seeing ancient architecture, he thinks Stellar River ruins are suitable to hide. He transforms into a dragon and flies there. He lands at a deserted castle. He stays cautious of lurking monsters. He notices scattered documents giving off strange fluctuations. He sneaks closer to investigate. Inside, a group is whispering in discussion. They say the Gokking invested everything, so the ritual must succeed. They take out a green crystal. They place it into a magic array. Energy flares up, lighting the sky. Power waves spread through the region. The group cheers, claiming they've reached the Stellar River seal. Henwu recalls the sealed-off rumor and now gains entry due to power limits. He steps deeper into the ruin. The system reports the mutant origin essence is activating. The group grows excited, expecting rewards. But an intruder alarm suddenly blares. Defense mode summons a tier 6 beast. Gamora! The origin essence splits off and suppresses everyone. They clutch their heads in agony under the sirens. A blue consciousness introduces itself as the mutant origin essence seeking a host, and proposes a game to choose the vessel. All are shifted into a mystical green space. The entity manifests, stating the game is to raise a beast to defeat tier 6 Gamora. Each receives 10,000 refined radiation units, and whoever evolves their brood first becomes the conduit. One man screams, refusing to be a porter, and threatens destruction. He tries contacting the Godamain but fails and panics. The mutant origin essence coldly summons tier 6 Gamora to kill the rebel instantly. The group turns pale. Henwu raises his hand. He says he can't link to the Godamain nor pass brood checks, shocking everyone who never saw him enter. The mutant origin essence laughs, promising not to disappoint the kid. It snaps open a spatial rift. Henwu curses as there's only entry. No escape. 3 hours later, they lament their brood dying in mass with only weak gains. Meanwhile, Henwu secretly rejoices as his disintegrator processed 6,000 radiation crystals thanks to hundreds of millions of locusts used to craft it. He observes his tier 3 locust, trusting its terrifying regeneration and durability. He keeps fattening it, forcing non-stop feeding. 3 months later, all are horrified by his grotesque result. Henwu summons a gigantic locust. Now tier 6, the mutant origin essence orders Gamora to begin the test match. Gamora charges into the crowd like an extinction machine. It crushes their beast easily, throwing them into panic. The mutant origin essence laughs, saying the weak don't deserve to exist. Gamora proves it by devouring people despite their screams. Only Hanwoo remains facing the ruling entity as it says it's his turn. Hanwoo admits he let a Kaing absorb all Junior, overpowering limits but giving only one day to live. He bids a taunting farewell. Regaining calm, he summons a Kaing and orders full strength for the final fight. The mutant origin essence delights, inviting him to battle completely. Gamora is summoned. The two beasts clash violently. The locust strikes first, ripping pain from Gamora. Gamora counterattacks instantly. It bites off a limb with its vicious jaws, but the locust regenerates immediately thanks to aberrant rebirth. Gamora roars, triggering its ultimate instinct. The mutant origin essence praises the rage-ignited duel. After 18 hours of brutal combat, both are exhausted and nearly collapsing. The mutant origin essence soothes them, calls it perfect, and asks its chosen representative if he agrees. Hanwoo is confused about this representative and its intent for his body. The entity raises its hand, channeling energy, declaring his body the new shared vessel, and Wu feels power invading every cell. After an unknown time, he awakens. He sees a status panel labeled Twin Form, marking him as a God-class organism or Supergene Warrior Low, one with unique talents. Hanwoo scratches his head, unsure if he is Hanwoo or the mutant origin essence. A floating blue light speaks. Noting he has awakened, it introduces itself as the mutant origin essence, explaining their symbiosis lets him surpass the Godamain barrier, grow fast, and reach the Divinity Galaxy civilization tier. Hanwoo waves, asking how to leave this place. The entity replies the seal is now under its control. The Tier 6 guardian Gamora is dead, so they are free. It adds that once the seal breaks, noise will draw countless true gods and proto-gods to the ruin. Hanwoo panics, knowing without treasures hell be stripped clean if caught. He urges himself to flee, recalls the arena coordinates, and opens a portal. The others only sense his aura vanish and rush to search. At the ruins submit, they cheer for a treasure but find it empty. One picks up a locust corpse, guessing it's his remains. Scene shifts and other roars in fury over a stolen artifact. He orders all broods to broadcast signals non-stop to trace the thief. A blood-soaked arena awaits. Hanwoo spends 1,000,000 points to teleport and debates returning. A notice appears as challenged by the evil dragon hair refusing thrice means disqualification. Annoyed, he accepts to settle it quickly. The arena gate opens and Hanwoo steps onto the stage. The stands roar for Evil Dragon, who eyes his target. The host calls for a giant bone set others send half-dragon troops, betting big on Evil Dragon. Hanwoo scoffs, saying that money can't make him lose. Evil Dragon mocks his locust line, claiming his hit an iron wall. Hanwoo summons his legion, ordering a swift finish. Evil Dragon commands Half-Dragon no. 9 to strike. Hanwoo's humanoid locust troops charge in. The Half-Dragons engage Evil Dragon fumes not seeing the Bone Squad. Hanwoo calmly tells him to pass the locust layer first. Enraged, Evil Dragon has his Half-Dragons unleash time fire to burn the front. Hanwoo orders the entire locust army to counter. Abyssal Molt bugs open armor, Celestial Demon bugs attack, and Dark Curse bugs fire kill skills. Celestial Demon bugs rain arrows endlessly. Half-Dragons take hits non-stop. Evil Dragon roars, ready to incinerate all insects. His fire pressure forces the demon bugs to dodge while Half-Dragons volley back. Arrogantly, he warns that without a trump card, the locust will be wiped out. Hanwoo grits his teeth, knowing delay only wastes troops. He raises his hand to summon the Mind of our demon, but the mutant origin essence appears, mocking him for yielding too easily. Doubting its choice, it insists he use Locust to teach the Half-Dragons fear. It stresses Locusts aren't weak, remember one chewed up Tier 6 Gamera and urges him to use its guided mutation. Hanwoo grabs a Locust, saying he just wants to test his new power, not obey orders. He channels energy into it. The entity asks which evolution direction he wants. Hanwoo chooses the Abyssal Molt bug as shield, seeking extreme durability. 3 options appear after damage assessment. He risks choosing full-scale mutation. A colossal Abyssal Molt bug erupts behind him. It charges straight into the Half-Dragon ranks. The enemy formation collapses. Hanwoo laughs, ordering his army to embrace the mutation. Other Abyssal Molt bugs also enlarge and slam into the assault. Celestial Demon bugs and Dark Spurgs undergo mutation together. They rain shadow blows and shockwaves, shaking the Half-Dragon line. Evil Dragon panics, suspects illegal enhancers, and calls for referees. Hanwoo proudly declares directional mutation complete. He warns the Dragonkin to guard their lives well. The Locust Swarm draws bows and hunts the Half-Dragons. He orders total annihilation. Evil Dragon bursts into tears, begging surrender. The stands erupt, cursing him for losing their bets. Hanwoo receives Divine Force shards in the blooded arena mark. Scene shifts to the Godamain. An arena appears where Brood's Hone skills winners may rank up or awaken Heraforms. Hanwoo is thrilled by the rare chance rising from near zero. In the core, an ancient evil dragon sleeps beside the domain core. He is terrified by the sight. The mutant origin essence mocks that such small gains are nothing compared to its worth. Hanwoo flatters it and asks to upgrade, but is told to kneel. He seethes inwardly, vowing to topple heaven once strong enough. He activates Life Sacrifice mode. Option 1, a Tier 4 Holy Relic Storm Warcoat that lets the brood summon storm armor when fed into the core. Option 2, a 3 Observatory to monitor a 10,000 km radius. The third is a manual for flesh puppet creation using the flesh of the powerful to forge an immutable body. Hanwoo is horrified since even Gamera or a Kaing could be materials. Without hesitation, he chooses the flesh puppet manual. His eyes gleam coldly, resolved to rise. Over half a year in the Godamain, 10 days outside, he pours 10 million divine points and rare materials into the project. The result shines a flesh puppet with heroic aura and power matching a Hera-class life form. Inspecting stats, name Xiao Kai. Type flesh puppet, Hera tier, talents regeneration and Devar. He decides all units will bear the Xiao Kang name to honor a Kwang. He clenches his fist, ready for challenges, vowing to enter West Capital Academy and find his parents. 3 days later at Imperial Capital Academy, Hanwoo is overwhelmed by the environment full of proto-god experts. A voice calls from behind. The speaker asks if has the West Capital transfer after confirming, invites him onto an aircraft for processing, and Wu boards the helicopter. The craft shoots past the clouds. Scene shifts to a pristine dorm. A guide leads him to his room. Seeing the spacious room, has shocked it's reserved solely for him. He thinks he must absorb divinity quickly in this talent-dense environment. Next day near the classroom door, he hears students mocking the transfer and insulting backdoor entrance. He quietly prepares his debut. A voice interrupts. A girl appears, startling him. She introduces herself as Ms. Lina, the prep class teacher, and leads him inside. As Lina enters and calls the class to order, Tan Sheng jumps up upon seeing Hanwoo. The class buzzes. Shocked, their goddess knows the supposed backdoor student. As Lena explains, Hanwoo once studied with Tan Sheng. A student named Zitai slams the desk, demanding why he gets into the prep class. As Lina sternly orders him to raise his hand or be assigned extra lessons. Zi trembles, apologizes, and sits. As Lena smiles warningly, then tells anyone curious to ask Hanwoo directly. He breaks into a sweat. Zi turns, declaring a challenge to test whether is worthy. Hanwoo coldly refuses. Zi screams insults while the crowd mocks him as cowardly and useless. Suddenly, Tan Sheng slams the desk and stands. He scolds the class for humiliating someone who hasn't wrongs them. Hanwoo watches, bored that sycophants appear everywhere. The dismissal bell rings. Students surround Hanwoo at once. Tan Sheng shields him. One snarls it's none of her business and pushes Hanwoo to face them. Hanwoo frowns. He steps ahead of Tan Sheng, saying he's too lazy to argue. He adds that he's in a full mood, so speak plainly. Zi scoffs that a backdoor entrant doesn't deserve this class. He threatens that if Hanwoo doesn't leave voluntarily, he'll be beaten out. Hanwoo smiles at Tan Sheng, saying it's shameful to study with idiots. Even Lina doesn't know why they're grouped with him. Hanwoo smirks, noting that beating them leaves no debt. As Lina urgently warns Zitai is strong, his blood is an elite life engine device, even she struggles to beat. Hanwoo shrugs, saying if she fears hell hurt them, he'll go easy, forcing her to relent. The students, angered at being dismissed, boast their broods alone can crush him. They march to the battle arena. Tan Sheng watches anxiously, fearing his pride will suffer at the arena with many match modes. Hanwoo chooses a 10v10 to test the Xiao Kang squad. On stage, Zi faces him. He mocks him with confidence for selecting a 10-man battle. Hanwoo summons 10 Xiao Kangs with overwhelming presence. Zi freezes at their hereditary abnormal aura and becomes serious to save face. He summons his life engine squad and vows to crush the enemy. Tan Sheng watches the feed. Stunned, he never knew Hanwoo had such a brood. A student checks and confirms they're hero-class puppets. Everyone gasps at the massive value of 10 such puppets. As Lina wonders how a loner like Hanwoo gains such resources. Planning to ask after the match, Zi orders his life engines to overpower the foe. The life engines charge, throwing thunder punches. Zi closes his eyes, savoring what he thinks is the sound of monsters breaking apart. But when he opens them, his stunned that none fell. The machines keep punching while the Xiao Kangs stand like steel. Hanwoo laughs, calling those hits mere sparks, and orders the Xiao Kangs to counterattack. The Xiao Kang battalion hammers down like a storm, forcing the machines to shield their faces. The stands erupt, shocked these monsters can withstand and mirror the machine's combat style. As Lina's stunned, baffled by Hanwoo's rapid rise, Hanwoo roars with laughter, asking if they want to continue. Zi growls he still has a trump card and orders the life engines to combine. Hanwoo laughs, teasing him for watching too many superhero shows. The life engines crash together chaotically, looking like a self-destructive brawl. Hanwoo covers his face at the violent mess. A huge explosion erupts among the machines. When the smoke clears, a massive steel titan glowing gold appears. Zitai boasts of doubled power and demands to crush the transfer. The steel titan charges the Xiao Kangs. The first punch deals real damage. Zi points mockingly, declaring Hanwoo unfit for the prep class. Hanwoo feigns weakness, lamenting how terrifyingly strong the opponent is. Zi believes him and starts a 10-second countdown for him to beg mercy. Hanwoo ignores it, striking a mocking pose and telling him to keep counting. Insulted outright, Zitai snaps and vows to show no mercy, but he then screams in terror at what he sees. The fallen Xiao Kangs glow blue and rise fully healed. Shocking him, Hanwoo orders them to tear apart the steel titan. The puppets swarm in, ripping open the steel armor. They yank out cable bundles in the frame, paralyzing the titan. The stands shiver at the brutality. The titan's head drops to the floor before Zitai, making him collapse. He cries helplessly as his entire combat asset is destroyed. Scene shifts on campus. Hanwoo pockets his hands and walks calmly through the portal gate. No one dares look down on him, all stare wide-eyed. Tan Sheng runs up, about to call to him. Someone else cuts in, shouting Locust Calamity, making Hanwoo turn in shock. The man hugs him tightly, thrilled he passed the academy trial and wasn't a wasted recommendation. Hanwoo recognizes the familiar voice as Hangman, but decades younger. Hangman strokes his beard, saying the old form was only for scaring people in the arena. At school he needs charm to meet girls. Hearing that, students rush to apologize, admitting they misunderstood the backdoor rumor. Han-woo waves it off. Hangman slings an arm over him, calling himself the Academy's top man and declaring Han-woo under his protection. Opposing him means opposing Hangman. Han-woo sighs inwardly. Remembering he once beat him, Hangman drags him along to meet friends. Han-woo follows. Baffled, they reach the meetup. Hangman cheerfully calls out to Xiaqian and Yiling. Xiaqian coolly introduces himself as the top man of Imperial Capital, while Yiling gently asks if as the one who beat Hangman in the arena. Han-woo greets politely, saying that win was just luck. Yiling smiles that luck is also skill. She says the prep class will enter the zombie town secret realm for survival training and asks him to bring something back. Han-woo is surprised such strong people need a freshman. Yiling glances meaningfully at Hangman. She jokes if as a newbie. Then Hangman is even worse. Hangman coughs to stop her. He explains load your secret realms allow only prep students, so they're barred. He boasts that if he entered, had destroyed the whole town in a few punches. Han-woo is speechless. Yiling humors him. They say the realm has wisdom fruits that raise intelligence for non-humanoid broods, each bought for 1 divinity point. Han-woo is secretly delighted he needs divinity but outwardly stays calm and accepts. Yiling gives him a special seed. She says keep it, it'll help in the next advancement. He takes it without questions. Scene shifts. Han-woo lies on his bed checking his panel, noting that with 6 divinity points he can attempt the proto-god rite, but recalls him's line of saying is far from standard. She had taught that 6 points only fuse a tier 1 god class, and Imperial Capital students refuse to waste resources like that. From the 6 point onward, cost rise. 0.7 needs 2. 0.8 needs 3, up to 10 points total to reach tier 5 god class fusion potential. Han-woo is excited. He reminds himself to meet Mez, line his expectations and do missions well to earn more divinity. Days later in class, a student announces the exam will be extratomain survival in Zombie Town, and upperclassmen are buying its secretrome resources. Zi-Tai and his group return. He speaks bitterly. He challenges Han-woo to bet on exam results. Han-woo asks the wager. Zi proposes if he scores higher. Han-woo must stay away from Tan Shang if he loses. Hell withdraw. Han-woo replies with disdain. He mocks Zi and says Tan Shang never notices him. Enraging Zi-Tai vows to separate them no matter what. Just as Tan Shang arrives, she asks if Han-woo scores higher. Will Zi-Tai stop pestering her? He freezes. He reveals his feelings. Asking why she won't accept him, she coldly demands he stay on topic. Han-woo is pointed at and forced to accept. Tan Shang urges him even though he's reluctant. He jokes not to hit him if he loses. Tan Shang is sure hell win and goes to prepare. As Lina announces the extratomain survival exam with higher realism and difficulty. The scene shifts to a new zone. The system starts the simulation, god tier power suppressed, and zombies greet them immediately. The group clutches their stomachs from hunger since divine storage is locked. Han-woo is tired too. He analyzes the challenge and checks which skills still work. Core skills remain active. Reassuring him, he turns to Tan Shang. She happily touches the ground to channel power. Green aura rises, summoning a giant thunder beast. She wants to carry him, but Han-woo refuses. He activates Black Dragon transformation. Black wings open as he shoots into the sky. They land at their destination quickly. Han-woo retracts his form to normal. They observe the town services. Then Tan Shang's stomach growls loudly, making her blush. Han-woo laughs and leads her to try a restaurant. The doorbell rings. The owner greets them and gives a menu, making Han-woo awkward. He says is broke, and the owner's attitude flips. The man pulls a gun and chases them off like midnight troublemakers. Tan Shang fumes, but Han-woo stops her, saying they're weak and a gun means instant death. He remembers Yiling's special seed and takes it out. The golden seed is shown to the owner. Greed flares. The man offers a high price, relieving Han-woo. He asks to eat first. The owner agrees and serves a feast. Dishes fill the table. Tan Shang cheers while Han-woo uses the chance to ask questions. He asks the owner about the region's situation. The owner begins describing Jiaben Market Town's oddities. Humans and zombies coexist. Humans hunt zombies. Zombies eat brains to grow stronger. At night they swarm out, killing and even break into homes amid armed chaos. Some use plant species spraying green fluid to kill zombies. Their seed is a rare tier 3 type. Han-woo notes the game-like setup and analyzes plant power tiers. While he thinks, Tan Shang eats until stuffed. Oblivious, he asks how to get more seeds. The owner is shocked they don't know. Seeds can be bought at high prices or taken from slain zombies. Both understand and resolve to act. The owner warns to find shelter since nights are extremely dangerous. To settle, they must buy or rent a house and avoid going out after eating. Han-woo sells the seed, leaving to buy a house. They bid farewell when a cry rises behind them. A starving student limps in begging for food. The owner drives him out harshly. He fires, wounding the student as the system deducts points. Tan Shang shudders, realizing she almost suffered the same, and urges finding lodging as they seek the town chief. Center converts the seed into gold coins for them. The cheapest house costs 1,200, making Tan Shang sad because they're short. Han-woo agrees to cover the rest. Center takes out a property catalog. He recommends they co-buy a 350 coin house with good features. Both marvel at the pool and the images. Without hesitation, they choose it together. Center records the decision immediately, but he says co-buying requires being married. The marriage question makes both blush. The town's strict laws forbid loose relations, so they must legalize it. Tan Shang shyly suggests the marriage option. Both finally agree to register. She lightly links arms with Han-woo as Center praises them as a lovely couple. They sign, receive the key, and a 130,000 wedding gift, plus 50 shooter beans and 50 marigolds as wedding gifts. Outside, Tan Shang hurriedly insists it was just forced. Han-woo laughs, saying he won't treat it as real. She grumbles that he acts too well. The system announces they own a house and adds resident points. both jump to the leaderboard's top, with Henwu ranked first as he admires the new home. The luxurious interior amazes him. Tan Shang says he lacks life experience. She's tired and goes to bathe then sleep, while he prepares to handle the seeds. Henwu inspects all 130 shooter beans and 50 marigolds before nightfall. He waits outside impatiently as Tan Shang bathes too long while plants need planting. Suddenly the door cracks open unexpectedly. He accidentally sees Tan Shang changing, freezes, and is shouted out immediately. Henwu panics, apologizes, and runs out. He focuses on inspecting the marigold coin producer and shooter beans that fire ancient dead seeds. Both live 1 year. While studying their fast growth, he mutters, and Tan Shang asks what is mumbling. Seeing his blushing face, she suspects as thinking something improper, though he denies it. The earlier sight makes him flustered. She doesn't believe him, warning him not to overthink and to treat it as unseen. A horrific roar suddenly rings out, putting them on guard. She casts a light dumb spell, illuminating the area. The light reveals a horde of zombies charging with razor teeth. Henwu crosses his arms, eager to see their response. He taunts the undead to show their skill. Shooter beans fire seed rounds, killing targets. But seeing zombies too weak and slow, is disappointed at their lack of challenge. He pulls out a green gem to empower the shooter beans, boosting them. The stems ignite, leaves decay, and their forms twist monstrously. They turn into shadow forms with boosted firepower, blasting through zombies in sprays of blood. The system keeps awarding points for zombies of all ranks normal, flag bearers, and office types. But the overwhelming numbers create pressure. Henwu worries about stamina drain from using shadow power. Tan Shang frets that others likely bought homes and hit 1,300 points already. Fearing they'll be overtaken, Henwu sees the bean patch killing too slowly and needs more damage. He realizes plants are life forms and should mutate via genes. He triggers directional mutation, channels red energy into one plant, and opens the upgrade panel. The system shows mutation branches range, speed, multi-head, roots each shortening lifespan but boosting power. He chooses all. The beans morph grotesquely, glowing a sickly gold. Firepower erupts violently. They sweep zombies clean, earning points in random drops non-stop. Heavy footsteps thunder like an earthquake. A squad of giant bodybuilder zombies appears, muscles bulging. The flag bearer throws down its battle emblem. The toss shakes the ground but fails to break the bean gunner's defense. It grows confused by the strange failed throw. The bean gunners bombard non-stop, forcing the giants back. Henwu gleefully picks up the refined steel flag, claiming it. In his joy, he suddenly remembers he forgot the gerbera plants. The gerberas gain a mutation branched in yield and death key absorption but live only 12 hours. Henwu picks every upgrade, making gold rain like glitter. Sin Shang checks the score and cheers as he surpasses rivals. Seishie panics seeing himself overtaken. He grits his teeth, pulling out a tier 4 fire dragon herb seed, vowing not to let Henwu lead. 2 hours later, it blooms into a massive, mighty fire dragon. The dragon spews fierce flames at the undead. Zombies hit by fire scream and burn to ash. Scores flip. Shii jumps to 1610. Henwu follows with 1586. He mocks Henwu's orphan background, boasting he has a true god descendant. As he gloats, dawn breaks, sunlight hits, and zombies instantly crumble to dust. Sin Shang exhales in relief at the huge pile of coins. First night survived. Henwu explains he has a directional mutation ability that evolves creatures. She praises its power but worries their score gap is huge. They check ranks. Seishie 201,000, Henwu 128,000. Sin Shang 23,000. Henwu says it's only the beginning. Time flies to the next evening. His plant array is upgraded to tier 2 and 3 with explosive strength. Sin Shang looks through binoculars and is stunned by the new zombie forms. She spots a red-cloaked zombie leading the horde. She sees undead cavalry and even a tier 4 dance king rushing in. Panicking, Henwu is shocked by the red aura of the zombie king and hesitates on strategy. He decides to shut all lights to avoid drawing aggro. Sin Shang obeys at once. The house sinks into thick darkness. They hide in a corner, whispering for updates. Henwu peeks out and sighs when the enemies veer toward another house. The dance king moves farther away from them. He suggests turning the lights back on to farm zombies for points. Sin Shang agrees. She launches a bright golden light sphere spell. The glow makes the zombies turn toward them. The nearest ones charge straight at her, and was bean gunners open fire in unison to block. The undead howl under the bullets. Yet more waves surge in. A zombie knight ambushes on horseback, forcing her to shield herself, but the punching plant behind her lands a saving blow. Henwu checks scores and sees Sun Canyon skyrocketing. A loud laugh echoes as he boasts about his point gain. Henwu turns to see Sun Canyon flattering the old lady, irritating him. Meanwhile, several zombies pole vault over the potato defense, closing in on both houses. Sun Canyon commands his sniper plant to strike back. Plant bullets rain down, wiping out the intruders. He laughs wildly, growing more bloodthirsty for points. Henwu frowns at the sight of him leeching off the old woman. Sin Shang teases if he's jealous. He retorts that if he loses, she can let Seishie bother her forever, stunning her. On the other side, the Dance King raises its hand to begin a grand summon. 2 red-blue fire pillars erupt, forming tier 2 undead dancers. Finishing the rite, it leads its army straight towards Sun Canyon's house. Henwu laughs, thrilled to see the sly guy's defense breached. But as he laughs, the zombie king suddenly spring jumps with muscular force. The insane launch exceeds everyone's expectations. It's flung far and lands in a cruel, off-angle trajectory. Henwu widens his eyes in horror as it crashes toward him. He orders the bean gunners to focus fire and burst it down fast. The bean gunners rotate barrels and unleash maximum firepower. But the bean rounds can't scratch the tier 4 zombie's tough hide. It even poses mockingly. Xin Shang panics and wants to retreat, but Henwu refuses or hell loses winning chance. He declares hell face it himself and charges forward. Black Dragon transformation triggers, turning him into a mighty dark dragon form. He dashes in and punches the enemy straight in the face. His full force strike leaves only a tiny scorch mark. Shocked by the low damage, he realizes he must get serious. Purple Key surges around his fist as he prepares the True God Cannon's secret power. Barrage of hammer-like punches erupts. The zombie's neck can't endure it, cracks and shatters. The Zombie King falls, awarding a tier 4 seed. Crocodile leather boots, and a dark paralysis manual. Though he gains 500 points, he complains the punch nearly dislocated his joint. From afar, Yiling watches through binoculars, praising how interesting he is. Hang Meng asks to peek, so she hands him the binoculars. After viewing, he boasts he picked the right person. Saishan coldly tells him not to brag. Yiling analyzes that to obtain the wisdom fruit, they must uncover the town's true zombie nature, not just farm points. She jokes about seeing whether he reaches the top, even teasing selling Hang Meng to Lina for viewing rights. Lin Nei appears behind them, expression cold, asking if they think she's that violent. Before anyone replies, she urges them to continue. They awkwardly say they're supporting classmate Han Wu. Lin Nei smiles and leads them to the exam room to watch Liv. The group enters the office as she activates the big screen. The screen is pulled to the center for easy viewing. She excitedly tells them to watch freely. In the sim, Henwu redirects the bean gunners to a new target. Command orders focusing fire to eliminate the undead group. Henwu leaps to avoid the firing line while surveying targets. Yilin judges his shooting technique has reached plant tier 2 standard. She notices something odd. Why did a tier 3 corpse appear there? Stronger undead shouldn't be lured by that layout. At Sun Can Nian's side, a zombie is blasted away and drifts into Hanwha's zone. Lin Nei states Can Nian has no backing despite his overwhelming strength. His coddling of an elderly woman makes Yiling disdainful. The scoreboard shows Shi far ahead, confusing everyone. The projection displays fire dragon plants burning through the horde. He howls with laughter, mocking Henwu non-stop. Yilin realizes he's backed by rival faction Huang Shengjun. The deal is he gives most spoils to the sponsor. The trio scoffs and curses him in unison. A re-haired guy enters, arrogantly demanding to know who they're insulting. Huang Shengjun appears, asking if they want to bet on final rankings. Hang Meng waves him off, saying they're not easily tricked. Quan steps in close, mocking their weakness and mediocre group. Hang Meng charges in anger, but Yiling pulls him back to stay calm. She retorts firmly that their guild exists to support the weak and challenges him to a wager. The provocation works, and Huang Shengjun gladly accepts. He proposes a big bet, and Yiling agrees instantly. Both sides appoint Li Na as witness and enforcer. He leaves arrogantly, while Hang Meng worries the opponent is too strong. Yiling believes Henwu is no weaker and still holds great potential. Li Na asserts that once he learns the town's secret, victory is certain. Ending day 2, Henwu collapses exhausted, unable to move. Xin Shang cleans up, relieved his ability still saved them. She mentions yesterday's loss. He teases wanting to record another round. The word wife makes her blush, and she kicks him in embarrassment. He explains it's a required roleplay, so she must adapt to avoid exposure. She keeps her princess attitude and turns away. The moment is broken by an annoying voice calling out. Sun Can Nian appears bragging he holds 3rd place. The new scoreboard shocks Xin Shang. Xie has surged far ahead. Henwu stays calm, saying he still has a trump card, then insults Can Nian crudely. She laughs at his boldness while Can Nian fumes. Can Nian threatens to plant spring traps everywhere around his house. Henwu ignores him and rejoices at finding a tier 4 seed with chaos and zombie control powers. Tier 4 mushrooms and corn grant wide explosions, stunning him with their force. Xin Shang suggests visiting the shop to buy stronger seeds to ease his burden. She blushes at his teasing but still follows closely. Leaving the shop, Henwu is disappointed the rare skill manual can't be sold. Xin Shang is happy she exchanged for good money and can trade the flagpole for a melee weapon. He agrees and jokes it's a Han Mansion heirloom, making her grimace. She chases him angrily while he yells and runs. They reach the town chief's house, his surprised by their weapon request. Seeing the rare flagpole, he becomes interested in trading. He lets Henwu choose any suitable weapon, and Wu is immediately drawn to a cool-looking sword. When he lifts it, the blade glows red as if recognizing its master. He feels it resonate with his black dragon bloodline. Henwu chooses it, and the chief approves. He lays out his items, but they fail to impress the chief except for a few. The chief takes only 2 tier 3 seeds, saying the dance manual is useless to him. However, he suggests the female neighbor, once a dance master, might need it. After receiving the sword, Henwu drags Xin Shan to find Can Nian's surrogate mother. They meet Xie stepping out. He pretends to be friendly but mocks Henwu for dropping ranks and advises quitting, boasting mercy. He prompts Henwu to loudly call for his wife to taunt him. Xin Shang coldly denies knowing him, making Xie seethe. He roars hell crush Henwu, but Henwu calmly pulls Xin Shang away. The rival's eyes burn with fury, vowing to cut off his arm. The two reach Madame Th's house to proceed with their plan. He knocks and finds Can Nian and the landlady coming out. Madame coldly refuses compensation and orders him to leave immediately. She insists it's his own weakness, and Can Nian echoes her, and Wu denies that purpose, praises her, and says he has a precious gift. He hints it suits only someone with her refined aura. She stays stern, so Henwu presents the lost dance manual. She freezes, while Can Nian fumes. Clueless, her eyes gleam, recognizing the supreme art of the dance world. She declares she'll pay any price to have it. Kenyon pales, fearing she'll throw him out if things go wrong. He tries to act friendly, but Hanwoo ignores him. He gifts the manual, moving Madame Hannah, who apologizes for earlier. She allows them to call her Hannah and claims to be their closest neighbor. Leaving, he gets 30,000 points for raising favor to 99. Stunned by the reward, he suspects goodwill is the true key to victory. Xin Sheng wonders why he's so cheerful. She also gains points via their marriage, making him smug. He teases it's the duty of their leader, making her blush and speed up. She pretends to be annoyed, but he's used to it. Hanwoo opens Hannah's private shop and finds a rare wisdom fruit. He saves it for after the exam and prepares for the point farming night. His confident tonight he'll reap a huge haul. As zombies arrive, 2 tier 4 seeds activate instantly. A glowing energy sphere floats out from the bushes. The impact sends the horde flying, clearing the field easily. He complains they're all weak types, giving few points. Then he notices something odd and looks to the neighbor's house. Hannah smiles and waves, showing she cleared all the spring traps. He's grateful but disappointed his big showcase collapsed, so he decides to hunt points directly on the street. He leaps high to scout a vantage point. He immediately sees a road packed with zombies. He cheers at the living points, drawing his sword. Violent dragon slash fires as a purple arc like thunder from heaven. The Blakey splits undead heads instantly. Rewards rain down after killing the strongest. He rushes for new tier 4 targets. He ignores the weak ones to save energy. 4 hours later, checking scores, is closing in on both rivals. The gap shrinks, but he knows he must accelerate. Night 3 ends. Survivors granted bonus points. Returning, he meets a stranger who introduces himself as Captain Rick Grimm. Rick says his team guards the gate and stops tier 5 zombies. Hearing that, Himo instantly imagines huge points and agrees. Rick welcomes him, saying he fits the squad well. The system grants tens of thousands of points and unlocks 2 new shops. His points surge to first place, surpassing Kanyan and Sishi, is shocked at how fast he climbed. Entering home, Xin Sheng hugs him joyfully and asks for his secret. She suspects he did something wild last night, is about to answer when knocking interrupts. The urgent noise irritates him, so he opens the door. A fairy red-dressed girl stands before him. She coyly praises his power last night, leaving him confused. She shifts to an even more suggestive tone, baffling him further. Hearing another woman, Xin Sheng comes out, demanding answers in jealousy. The girl keeps teasing before he can reply. Xin Sheng declares herself the official wife and confronts her. Jessica still provokes, asking if early marriage is boring. She even leaves a proposition to be his mistress before walking off. She sets a meeting for tonight. Hanwoo politely responds. Unaware Xin Sheng is darkening. She suspects is using women again to gain points. He panics, explaining the points came from joining the guard team, not flirting. Hearing that, Xin Sheng blushes and scolds him for not saying sooner. He teases her for being jealous, making her deny frantically. After the small spat, he hands her a seed pouch to manage the garden tonight. She takes it and warns him to be careful. Genuinely worried, he reassures her the sword let him slay a tier 4 zombie. But she's actually worried he'll be seduced, not about the undead. Scene shifts to the busy night city as he reaches the rally point. Rick waves, signaling the team is ready. Jessica rushes over and hooks his arm, voice sweet as honey. The strongman behind reminds her he already has a wife. He introduces himself as Buddha Jizian, while the blonde asks about his combat style. He answers by transforming into black dragon form. He shows off his ability to reshape his body for battle. Jessica's eyes light up, requesting to lead him on the mission. Rick agrees, telling him to follow her guidance because the battlefield is deadly. Jessica obeys, drawing her guns and entering combat mode. Hanwoo is stunned that her guns are tier 5 living weapons. One generates fire, one ice, both altering her physique. Jiseen fuses with a giant karmic force for strength. The blonde merges with a spirit wood, legs armored with power. Rick Grimm appears wreathed in fierce flames. A zombie horde approaches, making Rick frown. Jessica excitedly sprays bullets toward them. She invites the undead to enjoy her bullet rain. Explosions boom as Jiseen charges with his hammer. His strike dents a zombie's head like a rubber ball, screeches in pain but doesn't fall. Jiseen panics as tentacles sprout from its head. The monster smirks and lashes back with flesh tendrils. Teammates shout for Jiseen to retreat and burn the target. Jiseen leaps aside as the blonde spears the creature down. Hanwoo watches, amazed and thrilled by the high-level battle. He throws a full power punch. Confident in himself, he keeps cleaving more undead, growing arrogant. Might excitement. He receives a danger alert. A voice warns him to check behind. Jessica tackles him down, raising her guns to shield him. She doesn't explain, only fires behind him. Fierce flames blast in the monster. It burns away as Jessica seriously warns about tier 5 zombie durability. Hanwoo thanks her. She scolds his carelessness and orders coordination. She then dives in, shooting targets with precision. Hanwoo follows, slashing rapidly as the system grants big rewards. 3 hours pass. He pants, exhausted. Meanwhile, Rick's squad fights tirelessly, making him suspect they're on enhancers. Jessica teases his too weak to be a suitable lover. Feeling belittled, he laments losing his past divine buddy stamina. While he complains, a strange voice calls him a vessel. He recognizes the mutation source, mocking his poor endurance. It decides to grant power so he can regain dominance before the women. Chains and strange locks appear before him. The lock represents Longzealed power. When it snaps open, golden energy erupts through his body. His eyes blaze as the source boosts. The genes are unlocked. Now he can absorb strong life force to enhance himself. Without hesitation, he swallows the sunflower seed. A violent surge of new energy rises inside him. The power lifts him lightly into the air. He spreads his arms, radiating dazzling brilliance. Zombies touching the light disintegrate like meeting the sun. Teammates shield their eyes. Praising his divine aura, Rick rallies the squad to not waste MANWHA's support. He charges like lightning, leaving a blue blade trail. A special zombie nearly immune to light rushes in. Rick shouts for guard Johnson to block it, but Johnson is punched away in one blow. Rick, terrified, confirms it's tier 6 and tells MANWHA to retreat. The monster turns on him but is stopped by his light field. He smirks and accepts the challenge. He launches an ultimate light blast at the creature. Its body burns to ash and fully collapses, landing as exhausted as the squad cheers victory. They toss him in celebration as the system floods relationship and merit points. As he rejoices, the inner entity teases him about the power rush. He answers gleefully. The entity mentions bad news, freezing his expression. He panics, asking its intent, but it cuts him off, saying the bad news is just a side effect of unlocking. Relieved, he learns it's only minor trouble, nothing extreme. Remembering past level-up disasters, he grills it nervously. It assures no bodily harm. It explains the skill needs long recovery and overuse causes permanent distortion. Mocking him, the host freaks out, refusing to test it, fearing to stay a glowing orb forever. Rick asks if MANWHA suffered after killing the strong monster. Still worried, MANWHA smiles and assures the team is perfectly fine. Jessica seizes the chance to flirt boldly, praising and tempting him, making him blush in confusion. Johnson yells from afar, scolding Jessica for teasing the exhausted and telling MANWHA to rest while he handles the remaining undead, angering her. Admitting his fatigue, MANWHA leaves the rest of the squad and steps back for some quiet. Walking off, he reminds himself to limit usage, rebuild basics, and stop by the squad shop. He proudly declares his new title and opens the purchase menu. After 30 minutes of thought, he picks a plant fusion skill to use while his main power is on cooldown. The source mocks the crude fusion method and complains the gene lock recovers too slowly, wasting his effort. It blames his frail body and claims it can upgrade the tech for 2 divinity points. MANWHA coldly declines. Rebuffed, it reluctantly drops the price to 1 divinity point. MANWHA feels smug at bargaining success and outwardly agrees. It snaps its fingers, making his head burst with firework-like noise. 3 new cards appear, letting him fuse 3 plants and containing a tier 6 seed. MANWHA is stunned as it reminds him he owes 1 divinity point. He activates the first card for Dark Attribute with a tier 5 plant. Day 4 ends, system points surge and his rank skyrockets. The leaderboard shows MANWHA far ahead of the top group. Back at the villa, he finds Oxinsheng packing, looking relaxed. But she's annoyed, jealously hinting about him going with another beauty. Baffling him, she throws him a pile of items, telling him to sell them himself. He returns them, saying she should keep them since a married couple shouldn't calculate. Hearing wife, she blushes, taps his head, insisting she won't take advantage, making him surrender. She leaves to learn dancing, and he thinks she's smart at gaining points by bonding with townsfolk. 5 days later, he meets the guard squad. Jessica greets calmly instead of intensely, and MANWHA senses the heavy mood and asks why everyone's tense. Jessica explains the lunar eclipse night makes zombies berserk and once killed teammate Mew Lee. Rick takes responsibility and vows to protect the squad. Moving everyone deeply, Jessica pulls MANWHA close, telling him to run if danger comes since has the weakest link. Worrying her, he smiles, saying he'll be the one protecting her. Her heart warms despite the tension, and she warns him not to be reckless. MANWHA opens the shop menu, telling himself to upgrade power to survive the eclipse night. Item prices appear, costing from thousands to tens of thousands of merits. With 95,000 points, he spends all on a tier 5 golden dragon grass for fusion. The herb triggers his dragon gene, dark aura swirling over his face. For a moment, his black dragon form appears with new strength surging as the eclipse devours the moonlight. Rick issues an alert. The sky sinks into eerie glow as the moon disappears completely. Zombies roar together, savagery spiking with the eclipse shift. Their bodies swell, muscles bulging like battle monsters. Rick flies high, reporting enemy levels have surged and to brace for life and death combat. Jessica raises her guns, calm eyes ready for war. The whole squad follows, entering combat stance without hesitation. Weapons unlock and are held at full readiness. All shout their orders. MANWHA joins the Doherty momentum. Mutant zombies charge with horrifying speed. Rick forms a bright blue energy bridge, ordering the line to block the assault. Then he dashes to the front, crushing their advance with sheer force. Jessica fires nonstop, shouting commands. Johnson closes in, holding the horde back so teammates can focus fire. Fired up by their spirit, MANWHA charges, refusing to stay behind anyone. He closes on a large monster and ends it instantly with violent dragon slash. Another pack rushes in screaming, but they're too weak to him. His swift kick wipes them all out easily. From above, Rick sees his blur and laughs, praising his skill. Encouraged, he fights harder until the field is littered with corpses. Seizing the moment, Rick tells Jessica to call the mayor for reinforcements. She leaves at once, urging the team to hold on while she seeks help. Distracted, David is ripped in the shoulder by a big monster and screams. Johnson rushes to save him. Wounded, David still shouts for Johnson not to worry about him and focus on fighting. Luca covers with fire, shouting encouragement that moves Kyungshing. Out of ammo, Luca charges in and smashes the monster with a punch. The system reports a skill has cooled down after 10 days, making MANWHA relieved. He flies ahead, volunteering to buy time for the formation. Lucky panics and warns him not to be reckless and to retreat if needed. MANWHA smiles calmly, saying he must protect the town too. He activates a skill and selects the vine icon in the system. His body glows green as energy surges. New power floods him like bursting life force. Long vine clusters lash out, destroying nearby undead. Lake and Kulingshan freeze in shock at the absurd power. When smoke clears, corpses pile beneath him as he pants heavily. Suddenly another monster bursts from the dust and lunges at him. At the crisis moment, familiar Red Shoes dash in, shouting for him to stay strong. Jieska arrives with reinforcements, reporting the team is here. Mayor Shoshenagi leads the squad, ordering a full assault. Luka blocks him, warning of something abnormal ahead. The mayor checks with binoculars and sees strange fog. He confirms the fog is unnatural. Lake reports vision is fully blocked and asks for plants that disperse fog. The mayor takes out a level 4 wind clover seed. He places it into a specialized pot. Within seconds, the soil shakes violently. The clover grows at terrifying speed, and Wu is shocked by the extreme growth. The plant blows away the fog, revealing ambushing monsters, and Wu calmly activates analytic vision to gather data. The system states the special pot boosts seed growth 100x. Stunning him, the mayor praises him, promises some pots later, and vows a big reward. Wu thanks him. The system sets a friendly relation with the mayor, unlocking a private vault and 100,000 points. He opens the shop and selects the death black fungus, parasitic spore plague species. He throws the fungus toward the clover so it spreads spores stronger. Soon spores cover undead and fungus sprouts wildly, exciting him with a new tactic. Flying up, seeing spores cover the battlefield, he decides to gamble. Spreading his healing wings, he performs a fungal sacrifice ritual emitting golden pulses. Waves of light sweep across the undead army. Golden explosions erupt continuously, lighting the area. The system offers 3 choices: a level 9 wisdom tree, a golden pot for immortal seeds, plant museum for rare cycles. After thinking, he chooses the golden pot to fuse with mutation power for future level 9 advancement. On the other side, Lucky is surrounded and warns the monsters recovered. Hearing this, and Wu panics because the death fungus wasn't lethal enough. He activates directional mutation to boost spore amount, activity, and sprouting speed. Without delay, he triggers all 3 upgrades and channels purple power into the fungus. Then he hugs the clover so it fans spores farther. As a result, spore clouds blanket all undead. Above, Luka squints and smiles as he sees them slowing. The reinforcements cheer, excited by the clear turnaround, but the mayor signals silence, warning the eclipse's final phase empowers the monsters, and Wu sees total darkness as the moonlight is fully swallowed. The zombies mutate fiercely, the leader growing horns, massive body, and a demonic face. Wen panics and orders a full retreat to the entrance. The militia flees in fear, whispering doubts about survival, and Wu also retreats, sensing morale collapse and resolving to lift spirits. He soars up, shouting for everyone to stay strong and trust victory. He dives down and cleaves nearby undead with precise strikes. His display boosts the crowd, who cheer loudly. Seeing morale restored, he prepares to rally again but is interrupted. A web-like structure suddenly lashes out from the dark. It coils around him and yanks him toward the monsters before he reacts. GSS Key pales, screams, and runs after him. Laki restrains her, warning rushing in means death and only teamwork can save him. He shouts loudly for Han Wu that the team will find a rescue plan. Bound tight, Han Wu roars in anger, demanding the creature release him, gathering force. He forms blade like wind and slices the bindings. Freed, he shoots upward to avoid another grab and reorient, but after half an hour flying, all directions vanish, leaving him lost. The mutation source appears. Sane is trapped in a closed space and offering Divinity Swap escape. Hearing the cost, he refuses instantly and dares it to kill him. Rejected, it coldly says he must fend for himself and reveals time is frozen here. He shivers, seeing all directions wrong, wondering if only up or down remains. An idea sparks, brightening his eyes. He chooses vertical ascent and accelerates straight upward. Soon he sees what he suspected. Hazy pink barrier blankets the whole space. Angry, he draws his sword and strikes to break free. The slash leaves a tiny crack. He mutters a challenge to the barrier's durability, firing continuous sword key. He finally splits the light layer open. Seconds later, the crack widens into a passable gap. Looking through, he is stunned. A colossal tree appears, a single branch dwarfing him. As he lands, a solemn voice greets the outsider entering its domain. Hearing the strange voice, he readies himself, suspecting the giant tree built the maze and fearing his outsider identity exposed. He calmly asks its purpose, and the tree says it brought him to request help saving the world. He lowers his sword, assuming it wants the undead eradicated. The tree roars denial, saying the true targets are the town's residents. Shocked, he sits and asks for the full story. The tree calls itself the Wisdom Tree, saying it once guarded a secret realm but was seized by outsiders who forced seed harvesting and sold them as goods. Lacking strength to resist, it sought death power and traded faith to gain the ability to turn corpses into zombies. The war lasted millennia, nearly toppling humanity 30 years ago, but a powerhouse using level 4 fire dragon grass repelled the zombies. Later it realized that person was also an outsider and saw similar signs in Han Wu, offering him 10 wisdom fruits to betray the town. He quietly calculates since 10 fruits equal 10 divinity points. Seeing his hesitation, the giant tree adds 3 Godslayer corpses still holding power. The offer makes his eyes gleam with desire, yet he stays cautious, fearing trouble with the Shined Empire Academy if divine factions are angered. He politely declines, saying he cannot agree. The tree persists, promising to recommend him to the Death Prince. He startles, knowing that path leads to the long-dreamed death godhood. The tree assures the chance is real and asks his answer. Tempted, he accepts but demands a path to the divine domain to bring his kin. As he is too weak alone, the tree ponders, agrees, but forces an oath under the Death Prince's name that betrayal means extinction. Confident, he raises 3 fingers and accepts. A purple sigil instantly appears on his hand. His surprise, there's even a sealing mark. Above, countless vines form a massive web-like structure across the sky. Moments later, his locust swarm pierces the barrier carrying divinum light, sensing the familiar aura. He knows has reached a Lord-class life level. The wisdom tree urges him to fulfill the pact soon. It then flings him out harshly, making him yell and curse at the rough throw. Upon landing, nearby zombies ignore his presence completely. He looks up, complaining about the rough treatment, then decides to return first and plan the eviction later. As he approaches, Locust spots him and cheers in relief. GSK turns to, eyes bright with hope. He lands gently moments later. GSK rushes in and hugs him tightly. Voice choked but happy he's safe. Flustered being hugged in public, he blushes as Leo arrives to congratulate him with a friendly smile. The mayor also approaches, promising an outstanding citizen title. He jokes about converting it to cash. The eclipse ends, and the whole town celebrates victory. The scoreboard shows Hanwoo first with over 12 million points. Far ahead of others, seeing the absurd gap, he or she narrows his eyes with killing intent, wondering how Hanwoo soared so high. He vows that if he can't win openly, he'll use dirty tricks. He enters his house, pulls out a big sack, and leaves scheming. 20 minutes later, the sack lands heavily on a table. He or she pays 8,000 gold to a white-masked assassin to kill Hanwoo. The assassin takes the money and leaves at once. But outside, one of Hanwoo's locusts has observed the entire deal. Thus Hanwoo learns everything and coldly curses TP Shea's full play. He orders his locust clan to swarm the town seeking nutrients. Instantly the giant insects flood in, ravaging wildly. From food fields to fruit trees, everything is devoured in moments. Ten Sheng runs up in panic, demanding how he brought them in and what his true goal is. He coldly says it's a secret and warns she'd be eliminated if she knew. She immediately twists his ear, angrily demanding how dare he, making him yelp for mercy. And just then a hateful scream calls his name, making both turn. Tishi stands there pointing in rage, demanding an explanation since his sure Hanwoo is involved. Hanwoo asks in surprise what he supposedly did to make the young master furious. Tishi throws the locust sack, accusing him of destroying crops and challenging him. Hanwoo denies the slander, citing their power gap and mocking his expulsion. He leans on a junkie bike and fake revs it, making Shi see the helplessly. Tishi threatens to kill him. Unaware Hanwoo knows his every move. Scene shifts to a pharmacy where people panic by pesticide. The shopkeeper says it's sold out and asks them to return tomorrow. The crowd despairs because special plants may all die. Shoshanaga declares an emergency evacuation to protect citizens, and Wu quietly plans for his locust to eat the remaining special plants. Lak-am greets cheerfully, saying the mission is light and Hanwoo can rest. GSK warmly invites him to stay with her. He politely refuses, saying he wants to stroll for loot. His locust report Shi and the assassin preparing an attack, making him furious. He waits in a quiet spot to greet the two as they arrive. He scolds them for making him wait. The two argue about the leak and professional honor. Hanwoo asks what the academy would do if they killed him. Tishi pins all blame on the assassin to evade responsibility. The assassin summons a red demon doll and unleashes a special move. He charges Hanwoo with a rapid thrust. The impact sound terrifies the assassin. Hanwoo uses Jinlong transformation to stand firm and mocks Moneybot power. The assassin curses Tishi for tricking him, making him panic. Hanwoo signals his entire locust clan to attack. Instantly the swarm dives and savages the assassin. Finished, he closes in on a Tish, drawing his sword and threatening to end him personally. Tishi trembles, invoking tournament rules to beg for life, and Wu coldly suggests crippling him and feeding him to zombies. Shi flees in terror, screaming for help, but as a normal human he can't outrun him. Wu blocks him with a sinister smile. A barrage of blows makes him howl in pain. Beaten, he threatens using family fame and divine patron, and Wu hoists him up, challenging even the Avenger behind him. Then he throws him into the zombies despite his terrified screams. The locust also stripped the assassin to bones, making Hanwoo laugh. He takes the bag, flies up, and tells everyone to rest. Hell handle the rest. Next day the returning townsfolk cry out seeing all plants gone. In the meeting room, residents protest as living conditions collapse. Shu Shanaji tries explaining when Hanwoo cuts in with a new plan. The mayor asks his idea with hopeful eyes. He proposes relocating to another world. Everyone agrees as they're exhausted by the zombie siege. Shu Shanagie says the teleport gate is broken and they lack direction. And Wu confidently says he'll rebuild the gate and lead them to Cheng Delong. The mayor happily promises full support. He meets the wisdom tree, reporting the residents agreed to leave. The tree grows excited, promising to open a forest path at the full moon. That night, leading the people to the forest, Shu Shanaji asks again about the gate's authenticity. Jeskot spots the wisdom tree's silhouette before the answer comes. Moonlight reveals the colossal trunk. Beneath it a teleport gate appears, stunning everyone. The townsfolk file through one by one as Hanwoo waves farewell. Everyone gratefully thanks him, calling him their benefactor. Jek suddenly kisses his cheek, making him blush. She chokes up, telling him to remember her, then runs off. She dives into the gate and vanishes. Hanwoo stands still like a statue, sighing in relief that the test is over. At that moment, Lian's voice announces the zombie tone exam is complete. Instantly, all examinees are teleported back to school. She surveys the class, congratulating modulates them, and notes 2 died in the realm. Henwu tenses, realizing death there is real, then freezes seeing Tishi alive. He wonders why that guy survived. Lien reveals the scoreboard with Henwu first at 16 million. Tishi jumps up accusing Henwu of cheating. She asks for proof while his underlings glare sideways at Henwu. Tiershi insists he saw the locust and puppet underlings back him. She reminds them clan summons aren't banned and are true abilities. He grits his teeth accusing her of bias and demands appeal. She grows angry, warning of insolence and announcing punishment. She sentences him to 1 year labor in black prison and shoves him into the portal. With the ringleader gone, she asks who wants to follow. Terrifying the rest, students whisper that Tishi deserved it for disrespecting a teacher. She moves to rewards. Henwu receives the Emerald Heavy Bloom and second prize. After class, a loud call stops him. Seeing acquaintances, he greets them and shows he brought wisdom fruits. He presents 9, modestly saying that's all he got while keeping extras hidden. The group praises him, gives 10 wager points, and lets him keep all 9. Suddenly, a hateful voice behind threatens his life. Huang Shengjin appears, furious that Henwu cost him 10 divinity points. Hung Emeng steps up to block, demanding his intent. Henwu asks what's going on. Lung explains just a sore loser. Sai Tin details the first place bet that made Hoang lose points. Henwu asks whom he backed. Learning it was Tishi makes him flush. Henwu mocks Huang's judgment, enraging him into challenging back. The 3 seniors step forward, counter-threatening harder. Huang Shengjin storms off, vowing to make them suffer next class. Hung Emeng apologizes for dragging Henwu into trouble and says protection may be tough. Henwu reassures them, saying he's used to threats and wants to go train. The 3 promise to support him anytime. Scene shifts to a palace where a demigod seeks audience with Shun Wang. Zheng Zheng reports a lead on the Shanghai ruins. Before he finishes, Shun Wang jumps up, urging him to speak. He presents a box with locust remains. Suspecting Henwu's link, Shun Wang asks more and hears Henwu as a student. He grows furious, rejecting that a teen with divinity could break ruins. Zheng Zheng trembles, insisting he found solid evidence. He cites Oratrade records and Divinorum login logs. Shun Wang coldly warns against false reporting. Then he tosses the reward and orders him to withdraw. Afterward, Shun Wang commands tracing Henwu's signal to verify the theft. His eyes flare with killing intent, vowing to reduce Henwu to dust if true. Cutscene. Henwu suddenly sneezes loudly. He guesses someone mentioned him and resolves to prepare for a level up before next class. He takes the Emerald Heavy Bloom, reviewing its seed cycle effects tied to plant level. He chooses a level 6 seed, glad it can produce the superior Shadow Dome and Vine. Seeing the 3 Godslayers, he plans to forge them into boosters for his Locust commander. While plotting, his phone rings, startling him. Seeing Lianu calling, he answers and hears bad news. She says the zombie realm belonged to Teacher XD, and he identified Henwu as the one who broke its coordinates. He fears expulsion, but she reassures him XD only wants a duel. Hearing Shell referee, he relaxes. She even teases him to go all out. Ending the call, he lies down, deciding to fight tomorrow. Next day at the National Arena, preparations are complete. On the field, Henwu radiates energy as Hung Eming cheers. Lunin brings Teacher XV and tells Henwu to greet respectfully. Teacher XV declares hell use only 1 million clan units. No divine arts. Henwu replies seriously and confidently. Linin activates the system, announcing a twin mountain terrain. The environment shifts per battlefield config. Teacher XD opens a summon gate and calls his clan forth. A massive mech army steps out. It is the Zhurian battalion. Hom freezes at their overwhelming aura. Sai Tin explains Zhurian are a rare subrace born with supreme intellect and huge potential. Hung Eming panics, urging surrender to live and avenge later. Xihai hears and yells for silence. Annoyed, thinking Henwu's scared, he asks why he hasn't summoned. Henwu says he will. Henwu opens multiple summon gates. His locust swarm floods out like a broken hive. Xia is horrified by the colossal number of extraordinary life forms. Then he freezes seeing a locust lord appear. Next, the flesh demon lord leads its squad. Sweat pours as he sees the soft demon clan also at lord rank. Then comes the sword lost clan. The nation soldier brood emerges, making him pale. 5 lords plus a hero unit formation. Even teachers struggle to gather. Hung Eming reels, realizing he never had a chance against Henwu. Yileng says at Imperial Capital Academy hell grow even more. All 3 seniors cheer him to show true power. Back to battle, Henwu orders the Abyssal Locust Shadow Corps to charge. The Skydemon Locust fire volleys of black spikes. The Zhirin advance and combine palms to form a golden light screen. A sturdy barrier forms, blocking all attacks. Henwu is stunned by their defense. The Zhirin counter with a barrage of fireballs. Henwu pulls the Nightshell Turtles back and the Fragment Wall squad forward. Fragment Wall units raise shields, absorbing every fireball. But X sneers that such defense won't withstand Zhirin might. He orders them to focus energy and create a massive power sphere. Henwu winces, comparing it to overpowered moves. Once charged, Xi launches the Annihilation Sphere to pierce everything, knowing he must break the barrier. Henwu summons the Goat Hammer. The Flesh Demon Lord charges with its giant hammer. It slams the light layer with full force. Golden sparks scatter everywhere. Cracks spread across the barrier. Seeing the chance, he orders an all-out Locust assault. With no barrier, the swarm tears into the Zhirin ranks. The 3 seniors brighten, thinking Henwu can truly win. But XD stays calm, saying the battle has only begun. The Locusts continue their fierce encirclement. Henwu calculates that numbers are high but firepower low. Taking down a few Zhiran will shift momentum, his eyes flashing as he prepares a counterstrike. He orders the Nation Soldier Lord to lead a breakthrough charge. The Zhiran fire lasers, blowing locusts apart like fireworks. He reels at their overwhelming firepower and the few enemies downed. He calls the mutation source, but it withdraws to avoid exposure. Angered, he screams for it, but it's gone. Stunned, he reassures the nation soldier to do its best. On the field, the nation soldier and the boneless one rush into melee. The boneless one summons a giant skeletal fighter. It roars that it's time to act. The nation soldier revives fallen Juran into bone warriors, but the bone warriors explode instantly, creating fairy blasts. Axia remarks the undead race was once a historical nightmare, but he notes modern counters have made them trivial. And Wu analyzes the total neutralization of his formation. Swordpeak and Oxtaman still fight wildly. Their strikes shatter enemy limbs. They crush each Jiren with raw strength, but the closing encirclement shows hell burnout if he keeps brawling. He deploys the Dark Emperor Locust. It draws a bow and fires a jet black arrow. The arrow cuts through light rings like slicing dimensions, then splits into thousands of corrosive, binding arrows raining down. His shock, the Dark Emperor evolved greatly thanks to the Wisdom Fruit. The opening lets Swordpeak and Oxtaman break the encirclement. They surge forward and cleave the front line apart, but the Jiren regenerate too fast, shocking him. Strange black clouds gather overhead. A dragon head appears. Black Dragon Talus arrives to aid him. At the same time, 10 super puppets leap into battle. Yeva Lung cries out, recognizing pure ancient dragon bloodline. Sai 10 comforts Eng Meng, who's crushed by the absurd gap. XD freezes, stunned by power far beyond Preep level. Before he can speak, the puppets wipe out the Ji-Run, piling corpses high, shocking him with their monstrous region. He looks to Han-Wu, proposing to stop the duel. Han-Wu is surprised by the truce offer. Talissa growls fiercely in protest. Emeng is stunned that Axia High seeks ceasefire. Xia Tin thinks Han-Wu is being respected. Ye Lung is thrilled, saying the news will shake everyone. Luniana calmly explains Xia hasn't even gone all Han-Wu can't compare yet. She says his potential is acknowledged by a professor and Hell rise greatly. Xia gently says stopping is best and wants to return the Jiren. Kalessa acts up, so Han-Wu silences her and asks Xia's true intent. XD agrees, urging him to collect all Jiren and promising to take him as disciple after enrollment. Linian urges thanks, noting XD as a top academy figure. She stresses many compete to apprentice under him. Han-Wu mentally estimates the queue and asks the number. Lan says with low admissions, even 1,000 is huge. He bows and requests apprenticeship at once. XE cheerfully agrees to support him but says formal rights await enrollment. He sets requirements, reach perfect demigod realm and max out divinity. He adds a task to obtain clues of death power from Death God himself. Friends rush down to congratulate him. Xie warns to keep everything secret, especially from teachers. He gives 3 gold cards, stunning the group. The 3 swear total silence. Lua is exasperated by their recklessness. Calm day passes. Ten Sheng nervously asks for personal help. She reveals being forced into an interclan marriage, angering Han-Wu, who asks if her parents approve. She is saddened that her weak parents cannot defy the clan's true god. When he asks whom she'll marry, she admits she was switched to Z-Gang, and Wu vows to help and promises his all, moving her to gratitude. He jokes about their childhood pairing to ease the tension. She blushes and lightly taps his cheek, making him yelp. He laughs and assures her they'll refuse the marriage together. She smiles softly in agreement. 3 days later, they arrive at the Kuhn estate. He is stunned by its scale. She says it equals a megacity. A black-clad man greets them, saying her parents await at the old house. She greets politely and introduces Han-Wu. The steward warmly invites them in. The 3 speed off rapidly. Her anxiety grows heavier. He places a reassuring hand, vowing protection at all costs. The vehicle stops before the main residence. Inside, 2 elder factions argue over duty and profit of the marriage pact. Their quarrel digs into marrying off a daughter to save resources. He resents treating children like trade goods. She bursts in, shouting her rejection of the marriage. The redrobed elder scolds her and orders her taken away. Citing clan duty, her father blocks them, daring anyone to touch his daughter. The redrobed elder blames him for overindulgence. Her father retorts, vowing to protect her future from being crushed. Another elder stresses she's not yet half divine and won't reach true god soon. He warns that losing a true god will doom the clan to being devoured. Han-Wu asks privately why the steward says their sole true god is jailed awaiting judgment, and only the Z-clan's true god offered talks. He realizes Kun Sheng has strategic value the Z-clan wants, then recalls Yuan Zhong is also a true god. He calls him Yuan Zhong, teases that is short on divinity again. He explains he needs help rescuing a true god Yuan Zhong says has slightly stronger than the foe. He rejoices and asks terms. Yuan Zhong demands clear payment first. Han-Wu calculates and decides to pay himself, offering a sacred relic origin source. Yuan Zhong prices it at 30,000. Han-Wu agrees and sets a contract. Back at the Kuhn estate, the redrobed elder scolds until a voice cuts in. Everyone turns sharply toward the speaker. They see it's Han-Wu. The redrobed elder orders him out as an intruder. Kun Sheng hurriedly explains he's there to help. The bespectacled elder sneers, accusing them of romance as her reason to refuse marriage. She blushes. The bespectacled elder probes his identity and asks if he has true god backing. He bluntly says he has only himself and some perfume bottles. She fumes inside at his nonsense. The elder mocks he can't support his granddaughter. He gives a gold card with 500 million divine power units, telling him to take it and leave her life. Han-Wu bows and accepts it as the fee to invite a true god to save their patriarch. Shocking the elder, the bespectacled elder scoffs that one can't casually summon true gods. Her father is doubtful, but Kun Sheng fully trusts Han-Wu's words. The elder challenges him to prove it by summoning a true god before them. He says he never meant to call the Z-clan's true god. There are other options. The elder flares up to expel him, but the redrobed elder says wait. He freezes, sensing the pressure of a real true god, and Wu calmly states he invited someone even stronger than their opponent. The Redrobe Elder remains skeptical, saying they'll see when the true god appears. He shrugs, telling them to wait since the true god has arrived and they can ask directly. He steps in the courtyard as a dark figure wreathed in gloomy blue aura descends. That figure is the true god Yuanzong. The bespectacled elder runs up reverently, thinking he came after hearing the patriarch was in danger. Yuanzong coldly says it's not worth mentioning. The elder flusters while Hanwu laughs from afar. Yuanzong shouts, asking where Hanwu is. Kun Shang is confused, half doubting her friend truly summoned a true god. Two elders blanch, shocked the boy has such connections. He nervously admits he is the summoner. Yuanzong thinks in surprise, amazed he befriended a teenager. Hanwu shows the sacred relic as proof. Yuanzong pats his shoulder, noting his too young. Hanwu says he doesn't look older either. Yuanzong asks if that crowd is his kin. He bluntly denies any relation. The bespectacled elder urges Kun Shang's father to ask him to help the clan. Elders collectively plead for the patriarch's sake. They all look at Kun Shang, then at her father. Her father tells her to seize the chance. Hanwu is great backing. She blushes and denies any romance. Her father laughs, saying it's only a matter of time, and tells her to go speak. She calls him, but has still talking with Yuanzong. He turns back, announcing good news: the true god will rescue immediately and needs files. She asks in shock about the fee. He just smiles reassuringly. He cuts her off, saying not to worry. She realizes he covered the shortfall and feels shy. Yuanzong reminds about payment. The bespectacled elder hastily hands over the dossier. With procedures done, Yuanzong takes off and Wu waves him goodbye. The elders instantly change tone, warmly inviting Hanwu to rest and dine. He pulls Kun Shang close, saying she's the one who suffered and he owes her. Seeing this, her father laughs loudly. Accepting him as future son-in-law, she reddens to her ears. 2 days later at the Imperial Capital Academy, Xiaitai angrily searches the school for their whereabouts. He fumes after losing their trail for 2 days and guesses they returned to the Kun clan. At the Z clan, he tells his grandfather Kun Shang and Hanwu went home, slighting them. His grandfather scowls, furious the future granddaughter-in-law is close to another, and decides to drag them to the Kun clan. The brothers obey. Xiaitai smirks, eager to deal with Hanwu. Meanwhile, Hanwu calculates he gained 103,000 sacred relic units of divine power and plans to upgrade his law armor to level 4. He laughs gleefully, making Kun Shang lose focus and ask why he's drooling. The steward rushes in with alarming news. They jump up to ask. He reports the Z clan's true god has arrived with Z gang's brothers, urging them to hide. The formation system warns the Z clan will reach them in 10 minutes. Her father believes the engagement can be cancelled since a true god has saved their patriarchs. The bald elder argues the Z clan isn't easy to handle. They fear the Z clan will use excuses to provoke them into disaster. The redrobed elder suggests buying time. The bespectacled elder frets that without a clan guarding true god, if the Z clan forces marriage, accepting is better than annihilation. Kun Shang explodes, saying Hanwu is their benefactor. The red-robed elder says they can't risk the clan for her. The sixth elder snaps back, tension rising. The bald elder proposes a martial contest for groom selection to avoid offending either side. Kun Shang screams in protest, but some elders agree for the clan's safety. Before they finish, the Z patriarch's voice booms from outside. Everyone panics and rushes to receive him. He descends, ordering the wedding prepared immediately before saving the Kun clan's true god. The bald elder bows, begging leniency because another true god has already accepted the rescue. The Z patriarch erupts, flaring orange key to punish the defiance. Black storm clouds and lightning gather violently. Kun clan members kneel, begging him to withdraw his power. Just then, Hanwu and Kun Shang rush and she shouts for him to stop. Zi points, accusing Z gang of threatening Hanwu's life. The Z patriarch says if she marries his grandson, the clan will be spared. She snaps back, rejecting the marriage and scorning the absurd demand. The bald elder kneels, begging mercy and promising their patriarch will discipline her when he returns. The third elder urges her father to persuade her to avoid injuring a true god. The Z patriarch glares at Hanwu, demanding an explanation. He calmly replies he owes the Z clan none. Xiaitai clamors about disrespect. Hanwu mocks the patriarch for being petty. Z gang warns him to leave or be seen as provoking them. Hanwu laughs, deliberately angering them, declaring he won't retreat. Z gang ignites Red Kai and lunges to kill him. Kun Shang tries to intervene, but the patriarch stops her, calling it the Z clan's honor duel. He shoves Hanwu into his own god domain. He follows in, mocking the domain's primitive level. He summons an armored legion via his metal-shaping power. Hanwu notes they are stronger than Zitai's Iron Men. Z gang orders the slaughter of all foreign creatures. Hanwu summons his Locust army to confront them. The two sides clash brutally. Locust archers fire but are rushed by steel armor troops. A spear-wielding Locust warrior leaps in to assist. Another kicks an enemy flying. Z gang admits he underestimated him but says that's his limit. He raises his hand to summon a steel god soldier. A giant arm thrusts through a portal. Then the massive deity soldier emerges. Its eyes flash as it swings a huge cleaver. The Locust squad freezes. One has its arm severed. Hanwu is irritated. It was an elite-tier Locust lord with infinite potential. Z gang sneers, calling it trash. Hanwu raises his hand to trigger directional mutation. A blue light engulfs the swarm, making them grow larger. Z gang panics at the unnatural escalation. Hanwu commands a full assault. The swarm engulfs him. Z gang hastily summons steel armor to shield himself. The armor disassembles the giant cleaver and forms a shield. The gleaming barrier barely holds. Hanwu says this is only the opening act. He summons a heroic life form and uses mutation again, transforming the swarm into humanoid locusts. One newly evolved unit rips apart the steel god's shield, stunning Z gang. Hanwu taunts him, asking if he still thinks they're weak. He tosses a toxin crystal to the one that lost its arm. ordering revenge. It absorbs the toxin, regenerating a new icy-clawed arm. The new arm looks witch-like and eerie. The system reports it gained extreme toxic fluid abilities. It lunges forward. A stream of toxic fluid sprays out, corroding even the DD soldier's shield. Zhigang panics and flees the battle. Henwu sits down, declaring no one leaves his domain without permission. Zhigang trembles, asking what he intends. Henwu's full elite army appears, 4 lords and various special troops. Zhigang is overwhelmed, collapsing before the formation. The portal shudders, about to rupture. Around, pig-like Skydragon squeezes through, making him scream. Madaman charges, ramming steel armor with her giant wooden body. Red Wheel and Sword Edge combine attacks, hammering down like rain. The Bonlord summons Dryfrost cavalry from the Grave Realm. Zhigang clutches his head, begging to surrender and to retreat. Henwu narrows his eyes, declaring it's his turn to strike back. He orders his army to surge into Zhigang's Goddomain as the latter flees in panic. Zhigang grits his teeth and orders the gate closed to sever the pursuit. The gate narrows, but several warriors slip through. Some steel armors are trapped just as the gate shuts. He exhales, thinking is safe. Suddenly the gate reopens, making him scream. Henwu boasts that Lodier Locust can maintain a domain link. Preventing closure, Zhigang kneels, begging mercy and for the battle to end. Henwu plants hands on hips, saying invaders pay the price. Ordering his Jiren troops into the domain, Zhigang jumps up to threaten him, reminding him his grandfather is a true god. Henwu replies as a hostage now, so his grandfather won't dare act. Zhigang begs release with empty promises. Henwu dismisses him, saying the locusts are scanning his domain core. They report it found. Henwu smiles darkly. Outside, the Z Patriarch impatiently asks why his grandson hasn't returned. A projection of Henwu's domain appears. The redrobed elder calls the first elder to review it. The Kin clan stares wide-eyed. The locust swarm uses steel armor as footing while one steps onto Zhigang's domain core. The redrobed elder chokes, asking what is happening. The bald elder confirms Zhigang's domain core is under Henwu's control. The Z Patriarch projects in, demanding the core's release. Henwu, annoyed, orders accelerated slaughter of the steel armors. The locusts immediately tear the steel ranks apart. The Z Patriarch softens, asking his terms to spare his grandson. Henwu shrugs, saying the real issue is how the Patriarch can spare himself from Henwu. The Patriarch roars, threatening days of torture. At that moment, Yuanzong's pressure floods in. Henwu cheers. Yuanzong has returned with another true god. The Qin Patriarch also arrives home, sensing the aura and rejoicing. The bald elder invites them, but the Z Patriarch coldly refuses the Qin clan's banquet. The Z Patriarch recounts being ambushed while waiting for a friend in a domain. Yuanzong manifests to shield Henwu, startling him. The Qin true god appears, uplifting the whole clan. Henwu orders retreat while keeping the core secured. Enraging Zhigang. Zhigang threatens a death battle but is mocked as inexperienced. The Z Patriarch is scolded and dragged away in disgrace. The Qin Patriarch declares severed ties with the Z clan and cancels the marriage. The crowd silently watches them withdraw. The Patriarch gifts a green relic to thank Henwu. With Yuanzong's aid, he receives an ancient tablet that restores bloodlines. He recalls the mutated locusts, shuddering at their future power. 3 days later, seniors seek out Henwu with new intel. 2 friends call loudly to get his attention. He cheerfully asks what's so important. Hangman warns him about Huang Shenzhen and hands over an analysis file. He reads the profile, admitting the opponent is indeed talented. Deepline reassures him. Siachin says the foe isn't that scary. He asks what truly scary would be. Leaving all 3 speechless, the scene shifts to the school dorms. Henwu considers how to safeguard his 3 locust lords from stronger foes. He plans to boost the black fungus lethality for safer defense. He searches the net for toxin upgrade methods. He orders and receives various suitable seeds. He transfers toxic essence from the fungus to the new batch. In class, Linlin prepares the program for the evaluation. The teacher announces an invasion test failures will be punished. As she finishes, a domain gate of light opens before Henwu. He steps through instantly, heading straight into Huang Shenzhen's domain. The opponent grins wickedly, vowing to turn the test into his hell. His goblin minions instantly form tight formations on command. Henwu admires the opponent's larger-scale deployment. Shield goblins hold the front line for direct clash. Archers behind prepare long-range volleys. 2 red-blue flanks emit heat and frost for a counter-element setup. Lord-tier goblins loom behind to intimidate. Henwu's momentum rises as he orders his troops into position. The locust swarm pours out, self-organizing into unit clusters. Combatant secteers from common to primordial all appear. Lord-tier locust generals take the front with equal might. Xingjun reassesses and issues a formal attack order. The goblins unleash opening skills in unison. Locusts scattered evade but still suffer clear losses. Henwu counterattacks, assigning each unit its offense-defense role. A defense line forms while flanking strikes roll out. The goblin archers come under threat, making Xingjun recall the front line. Henwu sends primordial locusts to block their retreat. The primordial force traps the enemy in place. He seizes the moment, ordering breakthrough units to wipe the ranged line. Xingjun snaps and vows to use real power. He shifts Formation 3 into concentrated fire mode. Energy condenses into a massive core and blasts out. Locust shields crack as Henwu senses imminent danger. Xingjun pushes for faster bombardment. The barrier collapses, damage flooding the defenders. He deploys goblin lords to finish them. The locust lord squad endures with agile speed. Henwu chooses a leer tactic, sending locust generals to drag the goblin lords away. 3 locust warlords sprint off, pulling 2 goblin lords in hot pursuit. Henwu times it and orders a rain of deathspore fungus over the enemy. The hulking goblins can't dodge and take the full toxic shower. Fungus roots into their life force and swells rapidly, alarming Xingjun. Henwu laughs darkly, saying the real show begins now. Strange popping explosions echo through the goblin ranks. Smoke clears troops only have scratches, making him bewildered then amused. He mocks the itch-level weak effect. Henwu explains it's a tear-up chain detonation, and a fresh wave triggers mid-sentence. Red fire engulfs the formation, screams rising across the field. Weak goblins collapse, the rest are heavily wounded. Xingjun curses and casts a wide healing spell. Green light blankets them, restoring goblin durability. Henwu teases that this actually helps him. Xingjun boasts he can nullify unlimited detonations, but the next blast erupts far fiercer. When ash settles, goblins lie sprawled with no strength left. He is stunned, unable to believe the effect scaled so high. Henwu feigns embarrassment, saying the foe's spell made the bombs stronger. Xingjun fumes, watching black fungus surge over survivors. Henwu calmly warns the next blast may erase the entire legion. He sweats, fearing humiliation in the exam. Refusing defeat, he acts arrogant, claiming Henwu is still inferior. Xingjun activates Legion Battle to boost morale and endurance, then forms a two-finger seal for a massacre war talisman. It absorbs damage to self-heal and store power for amplification. He shifts to the next hand seal. Earth Aegis magic rises, forming a barrier with regeneration. Finished, he pants and declares it's his turn to strike back. The new shield causes the fungus to fall off Goblin's skin. Henwu is stunned that his ultimate technique was fully countered. Goblin Lord raises his sword, chanting blessings to spur counterslaughter. The Goblin horde surges forward like a blazing flood. Out of options, Henwu orders his troops to fight to the death. Outside, the faculty quietly observe the trial battle. Lena breaks the silence, asking for overall evaluations. The white-robed teacher says Qin Shang's Thundergold lifeform meets Taupe Academy standards. The gold-glassed instructor praises Zitai's iron armor, noting his clan aptitude. The brown-robed teacher says Sun Canyon's lakefolk suit logistics rolls well. Lena asks directly for their evaluation of Henwu. They fall silent, reviewing his battle screen. The gold-glassed instructor concludes it's a typical failure due to lacking power. But the white-robed teacher disagrees, pointing out Xingjun was forced to go all out. Lena notes Henwu still held back 5 strong species and proposes priority points. The room unanimously approves the proposal. Meanwhile, Xingjun urges goblins to finish the locust generals. The sky darkens and flashes, signaling the battle's time limit. Seconds later, light returns and the examined notice sounds. Xingjun is frustrated, tallying heavy losses despite not being defeated. Back in class, Lena announces that failures face expulsion. The priority list is red. Henwu grows anxious not hearing his name. He worries he may be expelled, while Zitai mocks him. Kunsheng reassures him Zitai keeps sneering at his failure. Suddenly, Lena calls Henwu's name, stunning Zitai. He quickly asks to speak, and she allows the question. He glares at Henwu, demanding why a loser gets priority. Lena replies plainly that though he lost, his performance earned full faculty approval. She smiles with pressure, making Zitai pale and rush to apologize. She declares the 6 priority students will prepare for tomorrow's Outer Realm mission. She slams the desk, shattering it with overwhelming strength. The class recoils in awe, silently praising her as a battle goddess. Zi stands, threatening Henwu to wait and see in the Outer Realm. Sun Canyon whispers that Zitai is allied with Huang Shengjin. He struts off bragging he'll meet a wealthy senior, wishing Henwu luck. Kun Sheng shows jealousy. Henwu teases her about freeloading, easing her mood. Just then Xiaqin calls the group out for tea. Outside, Xiaqin provides data on 3 Outer Realm civilizations suitable for rookies. Deepland gives 3 brocade pouches with intel and aids, warning to open only at the site. Henwu grips the pouch, vowing to reach perfect half-divine to join Suhei's class. The group chants a cheer, making him blush. Next day, Lena issues 2 domain access rings to Qin Sheng and Henwu. They head upstairs and find the starship ready. The 3 board the ship leaves the planet for the Outer Realm. After a long journey, it lands gently. The hatch opens, the system announces the Outer Realm battle begins. Henwu immediately searches for the 3 brocade pouches. Only one remains, 2 have dissolved into smoke, shocking him pale. Annoyed but focused, he opens the last pouch for its support contents. Inside is an ancient sheet and 10 strange green cards. He reads the sheet. This is a plane of the Fuan civilization. The page describes 26 root runes forming countless powerful combos, plus the use of origin cards. After thinking, he throws 5 cards, summoning 5 puppets as kill targets. Face hardening, he orders immediate extermination. An hour later, he slumps down. Frustrated, he gathered under 5 origin units. Going all in, Henwu summons 50 more primordial locusts. He points at the monster camp, ordering a full capture of the stronghold. The swarm descends, crushing the Gadagarding Renu beasts. Elsewhere, Zitai hugs a custom flask, thrilled with the overtier weapon granted to him. He stuffs Henwu's hair into the flask as instructed to lock the target. The lid pops, releasing suction that seizes the hair. Thick purple vapor rises, making Zitai blanch in fear. Panicking, he throws the flask and orders his kin to smash it. It shatters, and a colossal iron hammer demon rises roaring. It's strong enough to tear a steel warrior in half. Delighting ZT, he vows the enemy will pay as the beast charges off to hunt. Henwu has just wiped the Renu camp, gaining 10 origin units, seeing his human form too risky. He triggers Black Dragon's shift and summons 5 more Xiaokang. Suddenly, the ground quakes as a giant white wolf beast appears. Henwu orders the puppets to rush in and hold it. Their clash booms like thunder against the earth. At the Wolf King's den, he rummages loot and finds a strange item. Opening it, he discovers a complete sentence rune. Setting surprise aside, he lays out all runes he gathered to study offense and defense boosts. Smiling, he activates the sentence rune to brand himself. New power floods him, but the system reports troop loss. Startled, he looks outside the den, sensing trouble. Without delay, he shifts to Black Dragon and darts out. At the scene, a white Cadman is shredding a Xiaokang before another puppet. It slashes with blade-like claws, killing another. He identifies it as a Cadman Lord and orders counterattack. The puppets charge together but are toyed with. Another swipe drops more units. Yek Xiaokang recovers stubbornly even under cuts. Seeing momentum shift, the Cadman growls, eyes turning cold. It suddenly dashes straight for Hanwoo. Angered, Black Kai erupts around him as he prepares to strike back. As it reaches range, he lands a sky-cracking punch, blasting it away. The system reports the Cadman Lord slain, awarding 2 Planerigen units. He laughs with delight, planning to use them to summon more tiny skeletons for upgrades. After 3 days of scouting, Locusts detect a cave with a life force vein. He raises his hand, ordering a full assault toward it. Near the cave entrance, he scents lingering human odor. Advancing cautiously, is hit by a wave of heat. He shields his face, baffled by the sudden temperature spike. From the darkness, a fiery lion leaps at him. He shifts to Black Dragon form, taunting it to charge, but the beast halts abruptly, stomping dust upward. Its face twists as a girl behind it yanks its tail. She scolds it harshly, pulling harder as it roars warningly. Seeing her, Hanwoo guesses she is Niu Fang, but she only shouts for him to leave her territory. He refuses, saying no matter who owns the land, he'll try taking it. Niu Fang flares, tossing the lion aside and lunging at him. Hanwoo activates the Deathwood fusion with Ghost Shadow Lantern. Green Kai erupts, vines spraying out to weave a Lyfian death trap. Stunned by the bizarre technique, Niu Fang gapes as he coldly declares it a killing move. His closer-range strike made him fade like a shadow. She faltered, unable to track his shift. He appeared behind her, sliced her shoulder armor, and warned he'd kill her if she repeated it. She froze, sweating in terror. She yielded the target, but he refused and demanded the hole or vein. She agreed and proposed cooperation, but he summoned his clan to mine it instead. Suddenly, a flash of gloomy thunder energy blocked the cave. Both jolted, confirming neither side caused it. A massive steel boot stepped out of the dark. It was an Iron Sister demon holding a skull and screaming vengeance. It charged, swinging a hammer-like hand to crush him. He invoked Golden Dragon Herb Fusion, forming a golden dragon head. Dragon Breath blasted forth as a powerful beam, but it swatted away and unleashed a rust metal storm. He slipped through with footwork to dodge completely. She cast a grand fireball to halt it. Seeing fire effective, he summoned the Battle God card of Luan Duo. The Battle God appeared wielding a heavy mace. He pointed at the target, ordering its destruction. The Battle God roared, ready to judge with the hammer. Purple force erupted, summoning a swarm of fierce dragons. The monster fired rust blades, but the Battle God stood firm. One mace swing cleared the metallic rain. The dragon swarm struck, forcing rust blades back into the monster. It wailed, but the Battle God leapt in and delivered a fatal blow. The whole area shook from the violent blast. He shouted encouragement, urging more strikes. The mace pounded repeatedly, explosions non-stop. He pretended fear while grinning with delight. The monster was crushed flat, trembling and not resisting. He recognized it as Guy and knew releasing it meant future revenge. He chose to end its soul despite its pleas to live as a slave. He pretended doubt, forcing it to confess fault before agreeing. He stood and wrote a master-servant pact, stating both names. While writing, he secretly smiled as she gasped at his cunning. The pact completed, green energy bound the monster in servitude. He asked its abilities. It explained rust form and metal corrosion. He mocked its clear weakness since fire could easily burn it. Panicked, it offered to transform into a weapon to compensate. It turned into a massive blade on the spot. He lifted it excitedly, seeing it as a power boost and ascension tool. Days later, events unfolded deep in the forest. A soldier witnessed a horrifying scene and muttered in dread. Before him stood 500,000 undead troops, draining his color. Sunset fell over a luxurious mansion. The Throniziter jumped up upon hearing the undead army alarm. A soldier knelt, reporting the army was only dozens of miles away. The city lord instantly grasped the threat. Heavy with imbalance of forces, he wiped sweat and ordered an urgent plea for reinforcements. Next day came news of 350,000 reinforcements and clerics arriving. From the battlements, he rallied troops for a death battle defense. The formations answered loud, vowing to protect the land. Commanders pushed the army out to wipe the undead legion. Elsewhere, he rested by a tree when scout insects reported 350,000 human troops incoming. Hearing it, he jumped up thrilled, treating it as a hunting opportunity. He bragged about the intel and invited her to join, but she refused, saying not to use her. He slipped into the grass to observe the battle lines from afar. She suddenly appeared behind him, claiming she acted on her own. Not to help him, he teased and patted her head, but she shoved him off, annoyed. Dust rose as the dense human army advanced like a sandstorm. With enemies in range, he jumped up and ordered the skeleton squad to ambush. The skeletons burst from the bushes, closing a ring around the foes. Human soldiers raised shields. Trembling, some wishing to flee home, the skeleton horde swarmed in like giant insects. The two sides clashed in brutal slaughter. Dry corpses sprouted from human soldiers as new summons, worsening their panic. The enemy general, seeing the collapse, ordered the purifier clerics to cleanse. The clerics chanted together, spreading divine light across the field. The radiance burned each bone trooper to ashes. He jolted. Deciding the cleric group must die first, she transformed and blitzed toward the target zone. He dragon-shaped, growling softly. Refusing to fall behind, she wiped out a cluster of clerics in an instant. He followed and finished the remaining ones with his sword. With danger gone, they stood back to back, and he ordered a full assault. The skeleton army surged like a wild tide, trampling humans into retreat. a soldier fled to the city to report the disaster. Pale-faced, the city lord saw the ruin outside, lamented, and hopelessly ordered evacuation. After taking the city, he complained of losses while she celebrated like striking gold. He scolded her greed, then divided the runes as spoils. The rune list appeared, he called them Lodier and left them for underlings. While she picked the fire one, she activated it, glowing red. Boasting she neared the monarch realm, he laughed at himself. Seeing her excitement, he felt relieved. She looked at him without resentment, smiling and calling him a cute fool inside. The scene cut to a cold, dark hall. A working paled, asking to confirm the grim news. A soldier knelt, confirming 4 cities had fallen, undead numbers near 10 million. The human king summoned the church and 3 allied nations. At parliament, leaders of all races agreed to unite against the catastrophe. With consensus reached, the human king declared an alliance to destroy the undead legion. In another room, a couple cuddled as the girl said her father planned a four-nation church alliance to fight the bone swarm. Hearing it, he widened his eyes in shock. He smirked, guessing only MANWHA could trigger a crisis forcing 4 nations to unite. He calculated that this diplomatic romance finally revealed clues to ascend. He recalled that to reach demigod rank outside the realm, one must own a special grade rune even royals lacked. He planned to join MANWHA to seize such a rune, so he resolved to safeguard him from the alliance. The green-haired girl nudged him, scolding his distraction. He snapped back, flattering that even a queen couldn't compare to her. He quietly rejoiced, confident in charming women his specialty. Thinking so, he pulled her onto the seat, letting her playfully scold him. At MANWHA's base, news of the 4-sided coalition shocked the subordinates. She patted shoulders to calm them, but he knew his skeletons couldn't handle regular armies. He pondered hard, feeling this crisis truly troublesome. The mutation source appeared, boasting it had a plan but demanded divine point payment. Annoyed, he forced it to reveal the plan first. It only hinted at a rune that could induce mutation. He reluctantly handed over divine points, face twisted. It whispered all tricks and plans into his ear. Hearing them, he grinned smugly. She noticed and asked if it found a countermeasure. He gave a sly look, telling her to wait for the show. Soon the sky darkened with insects, throwing humans into chaotic fighting. Humans quickly wiped out the locusts and cheered, but the insect corpses emitted black gas that clung to soldiers. Infected spots sprouted strange fungal patches. Soldiers panicked and tried to peel them off, but black gas kept pouring in. Seeing the chaos, he summoned more skeletons. Human soldiers paled at the rising bone figures. After prolonged clash and collapse, he stepped out boasting victory via fungal toxin. He explained that death spore seeds could turn into a supervirus via rune amplification. He raised a mushroom, saying it was a mid-tier plague rune turning hosts into spreaders. He bared his teeth and ordered the extermination of remnants. The plague-bearing skeletons stormed forth, crushing 10 cities in 3 days and spawning 5 new undead generals. In the royal palace, lamentations rose as the nation neared doom. The king proposed a truce and negotiations to survive. All agreed but were stuck not knowing the undead leader's identity. Then the princess and Sun Kinyan entered. He volunteered for diplomacy. A wolf tribe envoy objected, and the high priest called him inexperienced. The princess defended him, and he flattered to win the king's favor. The elf queen also supported him, calling him sharp-minded, with 2 women backing him. The king approved despite ministers' doubts. At the undead domain, cold wind whistled over bone fields. Sun Kinyan arrived and was instantly greeted by MANWHA's familiar smile. They walked with arms around each other like long-lost friends. Sun Kinyan stated he came as envoy of the 5-Force Alliance for peace. MANWHA shrugged, saying peace required proper payment, then listed rune and treasure demands. Sun Kinyan calculated and settled on 20 runes, 1 Hydir piece, and 200,000 runestones. He then raised the price for other races. Considering his ties to the elf queen, MANWHA agreed immediately, saying his friends shouldn't suffer losses. They discussed becoming demigods and plans for ancient god ruins. MANWHA ended with a threat to the alliance. Back at court, Sun Kinyan suggested using rune intel or divinity to compensate for missing runes. The elf queen hugged him, potting over her tribe's high tribute. He replied humans had lost too many lives. She leaned close, saying her father granted him full authority, letting him request a reward. She blushed, promising a private reward. A senior cleric burst in protesting, but he only smirked. The beast tribe leaders considered letting the church fight one more battle before deciding compensation. At Saint Light Port, the skeleton army encamped outside the walls. The archcleric planned to gather all elite saints and 3 main corps for a holy war. The chief commanders were as seasoned as he, making victory uncertain. Inside the city, MANWHA scouted in disguise, noting all structures made of light crystal restraining undead. Watching soldiers, he saw all elite forces had indeed been summoned. Matching intel, he shivered slightly, sensing the enemy's scheme was dangerous. Calculating tactics, he knew he must sow internal chaos instead of attacking head-on. Remembering a method, he pulled out a purple object from his robe. Without hesitation, he swallowed it. His body sprouted vines as his power surged. He gripped a branch to test his new strength. Using Guiyingshan Ghost Shade Flash, he sent a white slash cleaving the branch. Seeing tiny sprouts on his hand, he nodded the unexpected boost. He extended vines to strike, planning to toy with the saints. The opponents panicked at the abnormal vine entity. MANWHA revealed himself and drew his sword. He dashed in with speed too fast to react to. A light slash infused a victim's arm with erupting evil ki. The man trembled, begging purification, but teammates failed. Church soldiers arrived, and their leader ordered him captured alive. An axe bearer charged, yelling the pursuit. As the axe swung, Hemwa's image faded like an illusion. The strike cratered the ground, leaving the attacker dazed. Henwu appeared and slashed open his abdomen. His comrades roared and rushed in. Despite the axe threat, Henwu only smirked. As they closed in, he slipped behind like lightning. One fatal strike felled the second foe, finishing the pair. He calmly eyed the last one. The commander stayed silent, body glowing with golden light. Sensing holy force, Henwu grew wary as it suppressed undead Kai. Soldiers saw his lapse and shouted to seize him. Being underestimated, enraged Henwu, who challenged them all. Cavalry lancer rushed in to block him. Still, he prioritized killing the mages before stopping. Securing the area, he ordered the skeleton army to fully attack. Clerics countered, and the environment prevented skeletons from regenerating, wiping them out. The port battle ended with 2 million saints dead, 3 main corps shattered, and Henwu losing 15 million troops permanently. The Archpontiff panicked, blaming himself. Unsure of the next step, his face darkened as he wavered between resisting and surrendering. Suddenly, someone appeared offering to wipe out the skeletons. The pontiff demanded his name. It was Tutai, Henwu's most hated foe, near Xiang City. Mages hurried to treat the wounded. Guards shouted that skeletons were approaching again. From afar, Henwu observed and ordered a frontal assault. The skeletons smashed obstacles and charged without pause. The pontiff personally appeared. Arrogant, denouncing the undead, he warned them to withdraw or face divine judgment. The skeletons kept advancing. The sky thundered as he summoned a hololite star and a punitive saint army. Instantly, ironclad warriors marched forth. Henwu was stunned to see the armored troops deployed. He gritted his teeth, realizing the pontiff and Tutai had allied. The pontiff watched coldly. Taking no further action, the iron warriors quickly crushed the skeletons with superior force. Mages attacked in unison, shouting vengeance and praising their deity. Henwu refused collapse, summoned a relic, and called forth a giant bone titan. A sky array drew bone matter from underground. A colossal skeleton formed and instantly smashed the iron troops. Tutai countered by merging the armored units into one entity. The massive metal form advanced, overwhelming the weaker bone titan. Seeing victory close, the pontiff told Tutai to release more metal troops, promising unlimited essence. Tutai agreed immediately, summoning countless iron warriors. Earlier he had offered anti-skeleton power in exchange for essence. Making the pontiff doubtful, Tutai confidently allowed a trial, assuring Henwu would attack tomorrow. Now the skeletons were fully suppressed by church forces. Seeing the disadvantage, Henwu chose to retreat and rethink. Regretfully, he ordered a full withdrawal. Once safe, he met Nu Fang. Hearing the city was filled with iron troops, Henwu gritted his teeth, furious at Tutai's obstruction. Nu Fang reminded him the beast tribes now flattered the church. Henwu sneered. Planning to punish them too, a skeleton ran and reporting a human envoy requesting audience. Henwu allowed it, suspecting they sought advantage. Sun Qingyan conveyed the king's acceptance of all reparations if war stayed off human soil. He then asked how Henwu planned to handle the church. Henwu said it let the pontiff gloat for days, then purge the flatterers. Qingyan said it scout the ancient god ruin before returning to help. After hearing this, Henwu marched the skeletons to attack the Wolf Kingdom for 5 days and nights. Lacking counters to revival and death spore virus, the Wolfmen were crushed. All 12 million elites were turned into skeleton soldiers and the nation collapsed. Seeing this, the fish heads surrendered. Henwu demanded double tribute, and they accepted in regret. After collecting spoils, Henwu filtered rare charms since he couldn't carry all. After choosing, he activated the needed runes. 4 sigils registered Tyrant Force, doubling berserk skills, power rising by kill count, reticence boosting all damage, and nature speech enabling talk with all beings. His body flared purple with lightning. Excited, he prepared to return to Lightport for revenge. Nearby, he summoned skeletons and lined them up neatly. With blade-cold eyes, he vowed to deal with Tutai. He and Sun Qingyan entered the ruined city and halted the troops. Qingyan was horrified that no living soul remained. Henwu inspected crushed corpses, both concluding the iron troops did it. A distant groan warned the skeletons. He focused on the sound source. They found the pontiff dying in a pool of blood. Henwu knelt to ask Tutai's whereabouts. The old man whispered with fading breath. He admitted Tutai stole all essence and slaughtered the church. Qingyan scolded him for bringing doom on himself. The pontiff exhaled his last, body growing cold. Henwu realized the church's silence during the wolf massacre. They'd already been wiped out. Qingyan urged moving on to find the Gold Ruin. Seeing precious light crystals, Henwu decided to take them to avoid waste. The scene shifted to green mountains. Qingyan reminded him to scan for traps. He used runes to probe the terrain, then reported all traps marked, needing only to follow the path. Indeed, every danger point was indicated. Soon they sensed a threat behind and turned wary. A strange creature emitted hostile warning sounds, getting no response. It curled and shot toward Henwu like a bullet. He dodged and activated the Emperor rune, doubling his skill's power. Overwhelmed by his aura, the creature collapsed unconscious. Qingyan praised the rune's synergy. Henwu blushed and dragged him onward. They went deeper into the forest and found stairs leading underground. After a few steps, they met more of the same creatures. Henwu sighed and used the nature sigil to negotiate. He sent the thought that they were only trialing and asked passage, but the creature roared and refused. Henwu's face chilled, deciding to teach it a lesson. One punch knocked it down. He enlarged his body, challenging all of them. The next creature rushed in and was punched down too, but hordes kept flooding in. Qingyan sighed that he was overenthusiastic. The creatures continued charging nonstop, not wanting to waste strength. Henwu summoned skeletons. Qingyan summoned a foxware host as well. Both armies clashed violently. Using the chaos, they slipped deeper. Qingyan secretly felt relieved to have Henwu Reaching the end, Kunyin cheered that this was the trial realm granting rank up and special grade runes. No sooner had he finished than rumbling rose behind. The horde broke the gate, forcing them to hold it while Han-Wu eyed the trial doors. Determined to enter, Kunyin instead picked his door and dashed first. As he slipped inside, he looked back and warned Han-Wu to be careful. Seeing his friend dart away, Han-Wu twitched an eyebrow, then he chose a door he liked and stepped through. Inside was a barren land of stone and sand. The system announced a hunger trial, requiring constant energy intake to survive. His stomach rolled. He reassured himself he still had the divine domain for food, but the link was cut, leaving him unable to access anything. A sound behind made him turn an alert. A horde of hunger demons crawled over the system, said he must fight them while avoiding starvation. He grimaced. Were these the required food source? Seeing fresh prey, the demons screamed and lunged, and Wu summoned skeletons to meet them. He scattered a few special flowers. They instantly grew into protective plant masses. 3 flower types, Death, Golden Dragon, and Ghost Shadow, would absorb nutrients for him, while skeletons kept demons back. To stabilize energy, he meditated in sleep state, needing only 30 days to clear the trial. The scene shifted to a ruined human realm. Smoke covering collapsed roofs. All had been destroyed by Two Tai's metal legion. He stood atop a shattered palace, boasting the human king's city was his. He smirked that the elf kingdom survived only by arrays but would fall soon. Iron soldiers dragged New Fang before him. Two Tai pinched her face, mocking her past wish to be Fishhead Queen. Now caught by him, she snapped back angrily. He spat that Han-Wu would die in the ancient ruin, since even his generals couldn't survive. He ordered New Fang jailed despite her curses. An iron soldier reported Qin Shang was cornered in a ravine. Two Tai grinned, praising Qian Leila's effective work. Thinking of Qin Shang, he clenched his fist, refusing to let her escape again. In distant mountains, his iron troops and Qian Leila's stone troops fought, giving Qin Shang hope to profit. But after a short walk, the battle sounds vanished, puzzling her. Tu Tai suddenly appeared, feigning concern, claiming he saved her from Qian Leila's trap. She prepared to leave with her Thunder Beast, but he pressed her with questions, blocking her path. He stepped closer, proposing cooperation. Outwardly kind but secretly scheming to use her, he recalled hiring Qian Leila to trap her and, after paying, demanding an extra stage scene. She irritably asked what scene. He replied he wanted her defeated by iron troops. Qian Leila snapped, having spent massive essence on stone soldiers, but he threatened to bring 30 million iron troops to force compliance. Outmatched, Qian Leila bargained to keep 500,000 stone soldiers and demanded double pay. Unable to resist his numbers, she conceded and Tu Tai agreed. Qian Shang politely refused cooperation, saying she had her own matters. Tu Tai sneered, declaring Han-Wu already dead to the Iron Sister demon. She retorted, trusting Han with strength and his skeleton legion. He scoffed that skeletons were nothing before iron troops. Not wanting to argue, she ended the conversation, but he summoned iron troops, sealing her lightning beast. She angrily asked his intent. He arrogantly said she must stay since he was the strongest here. He brutally grabbed her throat and lifted her to block escape. Tears fell as she desperately cried for Han-Wu. Meanwhile in the trial, Han-Wu jolted awake, shouting her name. Realizing it was only a dream, he sighed, fearing she was in danger during his long seclusion. Seeing his emaciated hand, he was stunned by the bodily toll. Outside, skeletons were still holding off hunger demons. He smiled. 30 days had passed. The trial was nearly done. The system granted the special grade hunger rune, enabling control over digestion power. A relic fell into his hand. He activated it, a green sigil glowing on his forehead. Feeling new divinity, he rejoiced at reaching true demigod realm. Turning, he saw the exit portal. Stepping through, he opened his status panel. It displayed Han-Wu, Mutation Source LV2, Outer Realm, Demigod, many enhanced skills, Divine Force 39 million. He sighed. The rewards were few, but reasoned the mutation level and Genelok gains were worth it. He told himself to wait. Only after absorbing full divinity would he reach perfect demigod. A sudden blue flash behind caught his attention. Sun Kinjin was flung out, landing on him, but boasting had advanced. Though utterly exhausted, Han-Wu sighed and tossed him into the divine domain to sleep. Then a loud crash at the door startled him. Outside, Qian Leila and her stone soldiers were battling the ruined guardians. Seeing Han-Wu, she grinned slyly, hinting about him and Qin Shang. She offered hot news on Qin Shang's life for 10,000 essence. Han-Wu didn't haggle, paid immediately, and urged her to speak. Surprised he paid so fast, she still reported Qin Shang was trapped in a valley cage made by Tu Tai. The news flashed images of her injured, making him shout in panic. Without delay, he transformed into a dragon and shot off anxiously. Soon he reached the valley, calling her name loudly. Seeing scattered thunder residue on the ground, he descended, searching but hearing nothing. He closed his eyes to sense her aura but found total emptiness. Opening them, he cursed in frustration at detecting no trace. While thinking, something shot at him from behind, forcing him to turn. It was a golden tube with ancient runes, radiating imperial might. It was divine power urging him to find Qin Shang before it was too late. It demanded release so it could see who could save her. A sudden attacker screamed threats to kill Han-Wu. Shocked he wasn't dead, the divine power complained of hunger and wondered if he had washed any pans. He boasts that now you've become a demigod. Your demon form is reverse controlled by him, and you'll soon suffer. Qin Shang's voice rings out, confirming she's fine. With Tu Ti dead, his clan lost linkage and can't control anything anymore. She thanks him, asks if he really advanced, and discusses gathering origin essence for his future upgrade. Mentioning a mine, they plan to use a disassembler to extract star metal, and Wu points out origin essence right ahead, telling her to wait and avoid reckless acts. She cries to the heavens from the painful bite and yells about the weird teamwork. They plan to stay 10 days to gather origin essence she wants him to heal before heading to the relic. Sun wakes up dazed, gets scolded for showing up wrong time, and is told his Jade princess is dead. He goes mad because Tutai destroyed his whole state cult, vowing to save the spirit king he once bonded with. The group argues his lust-driven and worries Han Wu may be blamed by Zila after Tutai's death and punished by the academy. Someone calls Han Wu and Kun Shang back to school for urgent matters, assuring them it's fine. Someone wants Han Wu seized to pay for their child's death. Though weak, Kun Shang stops him from rushing, yet he insists on trying the trial to reach his dream of demigohood, promising to return and go back with her. Someone is assigned to guard her. A month passes with her still inside the trial, worrying everyone she's in danger. Han Wu rushes over, but the gate is sealed. Past challengers cannot re-enter. Three Tiers Emperor, Radiant, and Starcrimson are manifesting. He calms down, sensing which trial path holds Qin Shang's strongest aura. Finding her safe, she proudly says she advanced, her energy near the Life King threshold. They receive an urgent summons for Han Wu. She asks to join. An order is issued to arrest Han Wu immediately. Truth comes out. Tutai tried to violate her, so Han Wu acted. Her memories prove it. Superiors are shocked and send them out temporarily. Han Wu is suspended for using excessive force while rescuing her. He accepts, using the break to absorb divinity in advance. 10 days later, he completes absorption, meeting requirements to request perfect demigod ascension. Divine Radiance approves, granting world-shipping power and nurturing a god main signs of success. From now on, even without Dragon Shift, he reaches Life King level. Status shows Han Wu carries a mutation source, Soul Heaven Chosen, with many god powers and a newly awakened Rebel God class plus Soul Devar Eyes. Skills like Shadowbend, Dragon Shift, Plant Fusion, and Emperor's Overbearing Aura can all merge. The new combo forms Black Dragon Shift with overwhelming power. Seeing fusion works, he tests it on the Devar clan. His strength surges to hero tier, enough to slay strong monster clans, but drains divine power heavily. Firestars sell well, giving him stable yearly divine power income and trades for divinity. Outside the academy, a true god suspects Han Wu is the thief of the God King's relic and seeks to infiltrate the school. Someone curses the academy for shielding him and vows not to spare him. Another offers to hire the two to target Han Wu together. An outsider warns them their harassment is baseless since Tuti's death is cleared. The true god becomes even more certain Han Wu is the God King's target and just needs to lure him out. The school immediately expels the troublemakers, insisting Han Wu must not die unjustly. After being let in, the true god says to leave Han Wu to him and tells the other two not to interfere. The teacher reassures Han Wu he was right to defend himself. The troublemakers can't threaten him. What matters is training spirit sense and preparing for exams or hell be expelled. She gives him a pass to the outer battlefield and advises training he promises not to disappoint. Is excited and sets a meeting on the battlefield. With 2 tickets, going alone is wasteful, so he plans to invite someone. He asks Teacher Qian to team up. The teacher is shocked, has a demigod, and agrees. Meeting tomorrow at the teleport station. Back home, packs and chooses sacred items. He pulls out a list of Varlo Relic, Firepoint Stone, Clone Tome, Thunderfire Bomb. The trip will last months. He thinks Kun Shang is also in seclusion absorbing divinity. He unexpectedly meets her. She came to say goodbye, fearing she'd miss him tomorrow. He invites her for a walk. She says she won't enter seclusion until tomorrow, so she didn't miss the farewell. The ancient battlefield is dangerous and she asks if he's ready. She gives a level 4 sacred item, the Nether Seal, letting Core Devarklan shift into soul form when dying. He realizes it's perfect for his soul-eating power and thanks her. She tells him to handle things alone because she can't join this time. He's glad she didn't refuse and vows to return safely. Teacher Xin arrives early from insomnia and urges departure. Entering the ancient battlefield, they get a tent tattered outside but a full pocket realm inside. He finds the tent hides radar and opens a summon arena, but its unit limit ruins his swarm tactics. The teacher says to review the system first. The system allows the lowest arena tier 0.5 Kamiya, with summon caps by rank locusts or bone soldiers only at max quantity, and only Core Devarklan inside the tent control. Outside losses must be replenished. The field yields god class shards for fusion or tent upgrades. He resolves to farm many shards to upgrade the tent fast. Teacher Qian explains shards are formed by wandering gods and must be taken by defeating them. Gods rank by aura color: white weakest, dropping tier 1 shards, blue tier 2, red is strongest, dropping tier 5 shards. He spots a bright Waitara god and sends out the Dark Emperor to test it. They defeat it and collect 8 tier 1 shards. Not bad. The teacher confirms they're shards of the Armored Knight god class. Full set unlocks useful arts and trades well. He praises Hanwha's choice of partner. Locust Swarm detects new targets though low tier. The teacher wants to leave, but Han Wu insists on wiping them out since scraps are still meat. After killing over 10 gods, they get only 30 shards, including 1 tier 2 too slow. The Dark Emperor reports 2 stalkers, and Han Wu warns any robbers will be punished. The stalkers plan to wait until the 2 rookies fatten up, then rob them clean. The teacher suggests returning to process shards, but Han Wu says all is under control and the Dark Emperor is tailing the stalkers, so the teacher lets him lead on. They find a purple aura god that can drop tier 3 god class shards. They decide to attack together to raise their win rate. The teacher notes it just wiped many Domain Lord Dvorklands and is a wind expert, but his rabbit folk can stall it. Hanwoo proposes a war of attrition with clones and self-detonating thunderfire bombs. The teacher says that's too slow and asks for another plan. He chooses a direct assault and charges in. They obtain a large tier 3 shard. The distant stalkers fear his strength, grab leftovers, then flee. He angrily shouts at them for taking his loot. They argue ancient battlefield rules say Finder keeps it and demand proof. He replies with giant dragon slash, saying they're too weak to contest him. He sells the spoils for resources to upgrade the tent. At camp, a group boasts of getting ancient battlefield tickets as a reward for informing the God King. Their shards are enough to upgrade their tent to 2 kilometers. And they go hunt bigger god classes. Master Zhang and teacher Liu meet teacher Qian and Hanwoo, hinting they saw him at the Shen ruins. Hanwoo thinks he hit his face well, so they have no proof and he can deny it. Zhang pretends to believe, then mocks that his son is now immortal while Hanwoo became a demigod. Teacher Qian cuts in and pulls Hanwoo away to avoid trouble. Zhang's allies are annoyed, but he says to wait until their tent upgrades, then crush him with Dvorkland, doubting a fresh demigod's power. Teacher Qian warns Zhang Kang and Liao Elishu inside with strong backing. He advises avoiding conflict since Hanwoo lacks god arts. But Hanwoo refuses, wanting rare training. To face Zhang Kang, Hanwoo uses Soul Devour Eyes to boost his Rebel God class. After 6 cycles it levels up and unlocks new arts. Option 1 Rebel Sword switches 2 damage types, fuses all sword forms, fixed effects. Option 2 Rebel Twin Gun switches range damage, compatible with firearms. He hesitates between warrior or gunner paths, forced to choose one, favoring swordplay and greatswords. He chooses Rebel Sword for major melee boosts. Its form evolves with absorbed souls. He realizes the more souls he devours, the more diverse the sword becomes. He notices the sword emits no elemental attributes as usual. The corrosion effect doesn't work as expected. Heavy weapon shatter effects appear instead, while shadow attributes fail, true to rebellion. Breaking norms and ideal for deception. Teacher Qian reports the shards sold and 10 upgraded. Hanwoo boasts his new bizarre god art and says he fears no Zhang Kang. The teacher warns caution and joins him to inspect the tent. The 10 upgrades arena area reaches 4 square kilometers, allowing more Dvorkland summons, so they prepare quickly. Hanwoo's rebel class experience skyrockets after days of hard training. Qianwen also has strong lord lifeform power. Both are excited. Unaware of looming danger, the stalker is sure Hanwoo is the relic thief and vows to capture him for the God King. He promises he can kill Hanwoo and will help avenge Tu Tai. They've tracked Hanwoo and await the right moment after learning the terrain. A true god and 4 demigods consider killing a fresh demigod a waste of effort. With the tent upgraded, summoning surges, letting Hanwoo master 3 good arts quickly. The enemies appear for revenge and must strike first to gain advantage. They swear to tear Hanwoo apart for their dead child and the destroyed artifact. Hanwoo reaches King Life Force strength, forcing the enemies to attempt immediate elimination. Hanwoo is urged to stay alert and retreat quickly from the area. The enemy questions their attempt to flee, and amidst the duo grew stronger unexpectedly. The skeleton clan is numerous and vigorous, while the duo's summons are dwindling, so they must escape. Qianwen wants to risk himself to open a path, but Hanwoo insists he can handle it. The enemy mocks them, claiming overwhelming forces leave them no way to resist. Qianwen refuses to watch his student die. Upholding his duty as a teacher, they sneer at Qianwen's noble stance and threaten to wipe out his clan. He declares reconciliation is over and prepares to strike. The wolf cavalry charges in using bombs to attack. Hanwoo unleashes a chain of rebel skills, tricking the enemy king into a trap and counter-killing him. He survives only due to a Gawking bodyguard artifact and is stunned by the reversal. The Ghost Shadow Lamp's time expires, forcing them to retreat immediately. Furious at losing troops, the foe orders Fen Lair to block the path and pursue.